Welcome to the Rogue Room. Welcome to the Rogue Room.
I don't know why, I'm sitting here behind the starting soon screen. The stream hasn't technically started yet. I want to give people the chance to flow in and be ready when things kick off, but fuck, there was somewhere I was going with this and I've forgotten what it was. If somebody can read my mind right now, just like rewind about 30 seconds to where I had a point that I was going to make.
Welcome to the Rogue
Hey,
Room.
Grumpy Scotsman. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. The stream hasn't even started yet. Not really. Not technically. Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. Because streams have been so ridiculously good in terms of overall stats lately. Let's just throw that out there. We are less than, well, just over 50 followers to 3K, which is kind of insane to me. Like, there are nearly 3,000 people that follow me on this website. And that is after I actually got botted for the second time the other day. And I fixed that situation up. So, this is 3,000 legit followers, for the record. But, yeah, God, the bot attack. That was 11,500 follow bots. Ridiculous. I wish I knew why they do it. It's easily reversed and it serves no purpose other than to, I guess, distract the streamer. I suppose I can be thankful that, it is so easily reversible. Thank fuck for Commander Root.
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Mehmed Plays, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. We're about to start off in just under a minute's time. I really have to get around to overhauling these graphics, by the way. It is pretty great. I have been meaning to give my starting soon screen and my other graphics a bit of an overhaul. At least in terms of color scheme and overall details. I keep saying that, but then I keep streaming instead of working on it. And then I said I was going to do an art stream and I haven't done it yet. Oh. Anyway. First. No, you're not. I was here first. Hola, how you doing? Alright. 10 seconds in now.
The Rogue Room appreciates
Tata,
your
thanks for the host,
recommendation.
and Radio Grumpy, have a good one. Get that paperwork stuff done. My name is Rogue Bitch. You are chilling out in the Rogue Room. How's it hanging, folks? We'll grab a hydrate while we're here. What's happening? What's the news? This fucking sleeve won't stay on my bloody shoulder. Del, there you go. My dress slaps. Thank you kindly. The funny story is, this was given to my sister as a Christmas present from my dad. So we went and visited my dad back in January, early January I think it was, me and my sister. Had lunch with him and all that sort of stuff. And he had like 2 years of Christmas presents for both me, my sister, and the kids built up. Because I guess we'd missed 2 Christmases with him. And this was something he gave her. And she's like, look, Dad gave me this dress. And I don't want it. So, allow me to demonstrate. This is the whole thing, right? Holy crap, like... Sorry, my absolute dump truck ass manages to catch the dress, so gotta be careful there. I don't want to TOS myself, but quite lovely. I put some nice photos of it up on my Twitter, which I treat almost as a second Instagram sometimes. And that is just a rude question, honestly. I was gonna avoid it. That bloody hair keeps getting in my mouth. And I also decided let's match the eyeshadow to it as well. I put on like 3 separate layers. I do like the whole lid area with a light color, did the outside with a glittery bit, and then I did the like the inside bit with a different color, and it all looks flat. It doesn't look like it's all the same color. I fucked it up tonight. I don't know how. The lovely sleeveless dress. Thank you. Yeah, why does it matter? If you are just curious, okay, do you still have a penis? I'm just curious. Oh, Fox, thank you for the posture check. So, how's everyone's day been? What's been happening? Have you been up to much? Yesterday was really exhausting for me because I did all of my enrollment stuff for uni. And I think I have some like, what's it called? Some like leftover fatigue from yesterday. because been feeling like absolutely exhausted today. Funnily enough, here's an interesting thing. Sorry it took so long. You're right. Just started for you. What time is it where you are? Funny enough, I think I didn't go super hard in the gym this morning on the subject. I only did like fairly light. Indeed, Haley. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I think because I went fairly light on like deadlifts and stuff today, I only did 50 kilo deadlifts for 5 sets, which is nothing at all, honestly. 50 kilos is piss. And I think sometimes my body expects me to go heavier than I sometimes do. It's kind of been a bit of a deload week, I think. My weights in the gym have been a lot lower. So I think tomorrow I'll do really low bench as well. And I think my body doesn't like when I mess with it like that. It's like, oh, you're supposed to go strong and all this kind of shit. Not that I can go very strong anymore. My strength is completely gone. Is 69 kilos possible for weights? Probably not, honestly. You could get up to 67.5, 60. I've seen 1.25 kilogram plates. You could get up to 68.75, I think. Or 68, yeah, 68.75, and then you wouldn't, and it wouldn't be balanced on either side is the problem. Hello, Best Buds, how you doing? But I'm still stronger than you. I do still have some muscles, but I'm slowly losing them, I think. As time goes on, it definitely feels like I'm losing some of that muscle mass, and that's good, honestly. Like, quite frankly, I was thinking putting this on, I'd look a bit gross, and it actually doesn't look too bad, so I'm happy with it. Oh, what's been in the news for you lot? What's been happening in the what's been happening across social media? Have you had anything interesting come across your Facebook timelines or anything? I have got a list. I've got a whole ass list of stories here. As you can tell by the title, I was kind of interested in talking a little bit about universal healthcare and the necessity for a space force. Like why is that a priority? This was inspired by a tweet I saw by someone whose name escapes me right now, but they tweeted literally the title basically. Why would you need a space force before universal healthcare? So we're going to take a look at Space Force. We're going to take a look at universal healthcare in the United States, in America. If anyone has any other countries and any other resources they'd like to talk about universal healthcare systems and how they operate, please bring them up. I would love to have some more resources available. Drone swarms are scary. Oh, they are. Dude, there's so much technology. I've got this drone here. Another Christmas present from Dad. Haven't actually used it yet. I've opened it and had a look at it, but I haven't actually gotten it out and used it. Hello, Martin. How you doing? But yeah, the idea of drones is fucking terrifying, dude. The fact that I have a Google Home in my kitchen, and honestly, I was considering bringing it in here. But Best Buds, didn't you follow already? I swear you did. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Unless that's a factor, unless that's Twitch being a little bit of a shithead. There used to be this problem at the very least, where people would follow my channel and they would stop by a stream again and they'd be like, I swear I was following you, and I would remember the fact that they followed me as well. So Twitch had this issue where it would follow and then unfollow people automatically for reasons that escape me. And also, this could be something else completely, but I've noticed a few people have followed my channel recently who I know followed me before in my activity feed, so that's just conspicuous. What's up, Sky Riot? We're just sitting here chilling. In a moment's time, we're about to talk about Space Force, universal healthcare, and all that. Get that subject out of the way, because it's interesting. It's a bit of a weird thing. Bit of a weird direction of the budget. Good morning, Uncle Fester. How you doing? Talking about Space Force because you love space, but you don't like forces. And it's also important to have healthcare. Exactly. Like, give me... Let's just start this off. Let's just open the floor right away. Give me one solid reason that we need a Space Force. Or that America does, rather. Also, did you folks know that Australia actually played a pretty important role in the original moon landing? There's a movie called The Dish, which relates to that very thing. Excuse me. Greed. Greed for what, though? Like, what's in space? You can't get to anything yet. Is my mascara being fucky? I can't tell. Anyways. Last night you were about to go to bed, and you're about to start streaming with a few minutes later. Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. India showed off some automated targeting and detonating drones videos while they announced these death machines. I know, it's fucking crazy, dude. It's insanely disturbing. How... It reminds me of that scene from Iron Man. The opening scene in Iron Man. He's just showing off this weapon that can just annihilate their enemies, and it's like... It's just treating it like a Sprite commercial. You know? Speaking of which... I made the mistake today of going on Reddit and selecting the all section, so I just saw like the main front page, and I swear the amount of posts, I saw 4 separate posts that were just straight up commercials. One was like on the Next Fucking Level subreddit. It was this girl putting together a Sprite commercial in her dorm room, and it's like, dude, you just literally made us watch a Sprite commercial for a Reddit post. Like, it's not a promoted post or anything, it's just an ad. Another one, there was a TikTok of some girl.
Welcome back,
Del.
supporter of the cause.
Thank you for gifting a sub to Martin. There you go. No, that's the wrong one. I'll put that up so I can keep track of my title. This is the right one. Here you go. Look at my stream dashboard, folks. There you go. Yeah, another one that was like, there was this TikTok thing. TikTok cringe or whatever. And it was just a girl doing voiceovers for 4 different companies. And I'm like, dude, why? Who's going on Reddit just to look at ads? They're just ads. That's all it literally is.
Appreciates your recommendation.
Thank you for the host, Batch. I hope you're doing well. I am a big cutie, thank you. I try my best. Oh, so we are at what? We're now at 112 subs. Can we hit that 125? Do you think? I'm gonna throw this to you folks. Throw this to you, my lovely friendos. Can we hit that 125? Can we smash it? Also, I just noticed Reverend Dell is paying forward the gift they got from Ginger Beard Man to Martin. That's a cool feature. I like that. I think it's a priority because other countries are also weaponizing space. So the idea of phases and space battles involving humans is fair way off, yeah, most likely. But there are plenty of communication satellites, vital GPS that can easily be targeted. Ah, good point, good point. It's a wild situation to think about, you know. Yeah, it's a very wild situation to think about. Astroturfing. This is why I subscribe to I mean, I suppose it's a good thing about Reddit is you can subscribe to specific subreddits. Oh my god,
now
Kiwi.
one of us.
Thank you for gifting 2 subs to Lesbian Bread and Cheese. I still love that name. And Stinky Carnival. In a Ceres colony. Where's Ceres?
You are now one of us.
Speaking of, I am still strongly considering... Ah, no, not that. Fuck off, Google. Goodness gracious me. I didn't click on that. Asteroid belt. So, like, The Expanse. Could we colonize Ceres like in sci-fi's The Expanse? Features a highly developed Ceres colony whose gravity comes from the whole asteroid spinning. Interesting. The Expanse on Sci-Fi features a hollowed out asteroid. I've heard many good things about this show. In a belt or out of belt. Exactly. The US might be wanting to back its corporations there instead of letting the Chinese get there first. Could be a thing. I'm also kind of worried about... I mean, the thing that gets me is, like, I understand a lot of people being excited about the space race situation. Because it's an interesting move forward. But there is the situation of Elon Musk taking people to Mars, for example, and trying to colonize Mars. And the suggestion that people would go and live on Mars in company town-like situations at the very least, where, of course, you're not going to be spending US dollars on a Mars colony, so chances are you'll take out a loan to work for whatever Musk decides to call his Mars colony situation. Does he have a name for it? I haven't looked it up. And yeah, the fear that I would have is, of course, that, you know, they'd get a bunch of willing volunteers. Like, we get to leave Earth and go to another planet, and go work on another planet and set up an atmosphere and all that kind of shit. But inevitably, yeah, there'd be people who would be definitely put into debt for the privilege of going to work for Elon Musk on Mars, and they would pay that off through their work, of course. And then, like, you're on another planet. Like, if you have a situation where it's like the work is like you're being mistreated or whatever it is, and you just want to leave, what are you going to do? Like, where are you going to go? You can't just leave. You can't just escape. You can't just quit the job. You're stuck on Mars with a debt to Elon Musk. So Elon Musk played the Outer Worlds and didn't understand the message. I've got to finish that. I played up to like the second area, and I played a fair chunk of it. I never got around to finishing it. I know apparently it's not even that long of a game. I should grab it again. I had it on like Game Pass. And what I played of it was good in terms of its story. The gameplay left a bit to be desired. It was kind of weird to me that they didn't have any grenades whatsoever in that game. In terms of its shooting mechanics, like the combat was very, very baseline. But I did enjoy the storytelling. I'd love to try it again. I'd love to play BioShock. I want to play all of the non-political video games. Check out some dumb selfies on me on Instagram if you want, by the way. In the film Upgrade, there's a guy named Eron who runs a self-driving car company called Vesla. Of course there is. Yeah, it's hard to do that on Earth. I mean, it still is a potential thing, because in Nevada recently, you may have seen Volch's video on this very topic. I was going to cover it. Nevada Bill Tech. There's this Nevada bill that would allow tech companies to create governments, and this is what it comes down to: is you, again, like we just said before, why do these articles have videos at the top of them? I hate it. I always expect them to autoplay, and I gotta have my finger on the trigger ready to stop them. It's like, don't give me a video. I'm here for the reading part of things, the non-political video games. Yeah. So the situation, of course, as is outlined in the early area of the Outer Worlds, is you have a town that is founded around a specific company, or maybe a small group of companies, and you work for those companies, and they'll give you company tokens that can only be spent at stores in that town, in that area. So you're not making any actual money, you're only making the money that the company gives you. So if you, for any reason, needed to leave, you're completely screwed. You have no savings, you have no... generally speaking, you have no upward momentum in terms of career. Either you're effectively in slave labor, and it's a thing that already did happen in the past and was eventually outlawed. Should look up Disco Elysium. I've heard good things. I've heard many good things about Disco Elysium. And honestly, I want to play some more of Hades, because there was an article that touches on Greek perceptions of masculinity, which I would like to read. I saw the headline and I was just like, I should read that article, because honestly, masculinity is something that I've done a ton of research on, which I have put aside for the time being. I'd like to read more about that kind of stuff. Howdy, Amy. Howdy. There. Sorry. Howdy, Amy Skidoodle. How's it going? What's happening? How's it hanging? Drink up. I did. I drank my drink. So, we've sort of jumped around a bit already in the first 15 minutes. Love the true ending of Outer Worlds. I know you can speedrun that game in like very short time, apparently. From what I have heard, there is a way to get through. What's the fastest? It might be a glitch speedrun though. Have a look. 12-minute speedrun. That's not that impressive, honestly. But I think like the reason is you can get to the point where the game ends really quickly. I think in this circumstance, I probably did use a bunch of certain techniques to get there as fast as possible, but I did see the Mad Max game, yes. Is it a prequel or is it a sequel? I wasn't sure, because I enjoyed a bit of it. I did enjoy a bit of it, but there was something about the Mad Max game that was... It all eventually boiled down to the Ubisoft formula, which is not necessarily bad, but there are good examples of the Ubisoft formula. You've got Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn, all Sony exclusives. I don't know why they're so good at doing this. And then you've got other lesser examples of it, like Mad Max. Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are obviously... I call it the Ubisoft formula because they kind of founded that whole thing, really. Insane Baby Crip, you doing? I did play a fair chunk of it, but I eventually got bored. I think I played about 8 hours of it. The only thing that's questionable is you say they exploit the fast travel system, but that's not glitching per se. You need a space force before universal healthcare because the country you live in is full of selfish, ignorant, bigoted people that are focused on the self above all else. You're absolutely right, Lady Rain. I'm assuming you mean the United States. And if you do, that's the unfortunate thing that came up with the most recent election, is everyone sort of sending the message of vote in your own self-interest, which is really, technically speaking, what you should do when it comes to a federal election. But the unfortunate reality of that is that a bunch of people, realistically speaking, do not vote in their own self-interest. They vote in the things that they think are going to benefit them. They vote in favor of the things that they think are going to benefit them. And then you end up with governments that do not want to institute policies that are more socialized and, things like universal healthcare, socialized housing, anti-homelessness measures. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about homelessness at some point tonight. You're Native American. Well, I'm not sure how to respond to that. Honestly, I feel like I should say I'm so sorry for the colonialists that have destroyed your homeland, honestly. Excuse me. Have I fully transitioned? Depends what you consider fully transitioned. I suppose technically not, but there's a lot in there. Also, yes, Ubisoft does have a terrible history of protecting abusers. They're like the Catholic Church. There was a situation where, at least one situation, where there was an openly outed sexual abuser in the company, and they just moved them to another location. Just quietly shifted them around, and, just put them in a role where they're not going to cause any fuss for a while. In much the same way... Oh my god, my hair keeps coming into my mouth.
Welcome
Fuck's sake,
to
stop.
the Rogue Room.
Non-binary Pam 123, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink. Chill out with us. Trans, pan, poly, openly Wiccan. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I've always wondered, have I pronounced Wiccan correctly? Democracy works when people have good information and people have terrible information. This is the interesting thing about... This is the interesting thing about the good information, right? There are a lot of policies. There are a lot of things that I personally believe. There's a lot of people who are led astray by, of course, propaganda. We know this. This is entirely obvious. There are a lot of people that if you were to explain, say, for example, socialist policies to them like they were 5, if you were to create some kind of a really simple, easy to understand breakdown of these policies and tell these people, this is what we want for the future, then you would be able to change minds. But the reality of the situation is that politics is far too aggressively contrarian, and there's a whole ton of ad hominem and stuff like that in terms of debate. People devolve so easily into being argumentative as opposed to actually discussing what the issues are. It's remarkable how prominent that is. Still a human being made of meat. I have not transcended to the platonic ideal of woman yet. I'm not an android. I'm working on it, but the money isn't there. That's why we've got a very reasonable sub-goal of 125. Help me transition into an android so I can plug into the mainframe and shut down the Space Force and save universal healthcare for the whole world. Got a link to an organization that confirms sexual orientation isn't a choice. That's interesting. I wish I could be an android too, Baz. I wish I could. It'd be sick. I want to be like a Dragon Ball Z android. Got like lasers coming out of my hands and shit. ABO style. Ah. Oh, I just crossed my toes over and then like pressed my foot into the carpet and it... Ow. Hard to explain what I mean. Oh, oof. Okay, let me have a look here. Sexual orientation. Been watching an Indigenous focused streamer lately and have been learning a lot. I'd like to find some more streamers like that, honestly. A Cree style council which discourages the use of pronouns. Interesting. When you think about it, well, here's the thing about the cybernetic stuff. Is one thing that's often overlooked about cyberpunk settings is just how the cool cybernetic arms and stuff. I've made jokes about this before. But the idea of, you know, getting cool cyber arms and cyber eyes and all that sort of shit. It's like, oh, I got a gun in my arm kind of situation. Is it often overlooks the absolute capitalization on things that could directly benefit, directly benefit disabled people who would need those augments to function normally in society. So what we get is like, oh, people are chopping off their arms and legs to get cyber augmentations and completely ignoring the ableism of the genre, really. Amy Skidoodle, my god, I can't pronounce things tonight. Hey, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us.
The Rogue Room appreciates
your
recommendation.
Yes, exactly. Have you folks seen, I haven't seen all of it, but have you folks seen Repo? Or Repo Men? Repo the Genetic Opera or Repo Men both have a very similar story structure. Repo the Genetic Opera is, as it sounds, an opera. It's very theatrical in terms of its presentation. Very gross too, but the ideal situation is, of course, augmentations are designed to help people who are disabled, help people who have got, who've lost an eye or a limb or anything like that. Hey, they have an organ that's failing. They have to get it removed and replaced with a cybernetic one that can do the same functions. That is the goal of cybernetic augmentation. But of course, capitalism is going to say, well, people want to buy these things to augment themselves. People are going to want to buy, let me just allow that one. People are going to buy cyber arms and exoskeletons that are mounted to their bodies in order to do their, heavier lifting and stuff, like all this kind of thing, right? And it's going to sound like a really good positive thing, but ultimately it's going to be used in ways that, like you've said, are going to put people in debt. People are going to go into debt to cover the cost of getting a lung replaced or getting an arm replaced, this is not cybernetic augmentation. If we get to the point where it's as good as we see it in stuff like Cyberpunk, it's not going to be cool, it's not going to be fun, it's not going to be fancy. It's going to be an absolutely destructive thing, absolutely guided by capitalistic ideologies. So don't get too keen on rocket feet. Repo the Genetic Opera is amazing. I do need to finish watching it. I started watching Repo Men, and I started watching, or I saw bits and pieces of Repo the Genetic Opera. But I know the message. I know the basic message. Why does Australian YouTube have so many dingbats like Gary Awesome, Bearing, and Suit Yourself as they're terrible? I have no idea, Sabercat, honestly. I've heard of Gary Awesome. Maybe we should watch one of his videos so I get a feel for his actual content. Any grifters? I'm a grifter. Subscribe to me because I'm a poor leftist trans woman on the internet. That's my grift. Poor leftist trans woman. A lot of Cyberpunk content has this inbuilt assumption that, like, cybernetics rot your soul away, and Shadowrun it literally does, and you become less of a person as you get cybernetic implants and can't do magic properly as a result. Big fuck you to people in real life who have prosthetics. Well, yeah. And that is... that's actually a factor in the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG as well. Like, the more augmentations you get cyber psychosis or something along those lines. Like, you become, and apparently you see it in the game. It's kind of silly. Like, I was mentioning this before, that I always mess with that. Shadowrun's essence only matters if you're replacing a healthy part with a cyber part. If you're missing a part or a part is failing, it can be replaced for no cost. Interesting. Humanity loss leading to cyber psychosis. Exactly. It's kind of interesting to me that CD Projekt Red, who of course, have done particularly well in the realm of story-driven RPGs, decided to go the route of, from what I can tell from observation alone, I haven't played the game, a specifically geared method of storytelling, rather than going for a more open RPG where there was no specifically directed story, and adding in elements like cyber psychosis. I feel like Cyberpunk 2077 could have been a really good departure from their typical gameplay style if they went for a more open RPG thing. Has there been... Here's a serious question for you. Has there been a good open RPG in a while? What I mean by that is there's no narrative structure, but it's got all the bearings of an RPG. And there are elements of story and lore and world building, but you're not stuck to a specific narrative. You can explore the world at your own pace, level up at your own pace in any way, shape, or form you like. Have there been any games like that in recent memory? Or are they all specifically narratively structured? As in linear, point A to point B. That's the way the story goes. Always like the Bioshock way of augments, where they augment DNA so you can fire bees. If you do too much, you become fucked up. I want to fire bees. Whole cyberpsychosis loss of humanity was just an easy way of stopping players from making OP characters. But here's a little thought experiment for you. Here's a little thought experiment. Do you believe we will get to a point, and I personally believe we probably will reach a point where cyber augmentations are going to be a commonplace thing? We're going to see people with a cyber hand, or like we're going to see people with weird eyes and wires down their face and stuff. That's going to happen. I suspect it's going to happen unless we destroy the planet in the next 50 odd years, which is entirely possible as well. However, do you believe personally that the act of removing body parts constantly and chopping and changing things, swapping things out over and over again, do you think there is going to be a point where people will body mod themselves into actual cyberpsychosis, like a sense of loss of humanity that drives them insane? Do we think that's a possibility? I personally think there is something to be said for the human self. Like, believe people would do that? I think so. Let's put it to a poll. Here's an idea for you, because I like the idea of polls. I'll give you three options. Here we go. Let me see here. Then we will have cyber sports. Yes, indeed, Dark Warrior. Not replacing a nearly perfect healing flesh part with something that needs a service every few years. And that's absolutely what's going to happen. My car is going through some shit right now, which means when I put the key in the barrel, sometimes it doesn't turn on, and it's going to cost me like $600 to fix it at the very least, which I don't have, by the way. And that's going to be exactly what it will be for cybernetic augmentations, is you will have parts that are, for those of you who are unaware, there is this thing called planned obsolescence or perceived obsolescence. And planned obsolescence is very common in smartphones, for example. I don't know how long I've had my S10 now, but I don't expect it will last too much longer because there are new Samsung models out there, and they will release patches for these phones routinely when the phone is running completely fine. I just had an update before. It's like I didn't need an update. There was no need for my phone to update anything. And what they'll do is they will put out these updates over time, and eventually your phone's going to slow down a lot for some reason, because they want you to go out and buy a new one after about 2 or 3 years. You're getting that from Transition. You would definitely get that with Cyberparts. Yeah, exactly. There is an element of that in my head. It's like, if I get certain things done to my body, am I going... I mean, we already sort of have it now. You know, we already sort of have the situation now where people are getting excess amounts of plastic surgery done to their bodies. And you see, like, if you look at documentaries, and unfortunately I'm not able to bring them up on stream because they usually show excess nudity or something like that of these people. But you look at like the human Ken doll or the human Barbie doll, or things like that, where they have just these ridiculous amounts of augmentation, like aesthetic augmentations done to their bodies. And more often not, and you could frame this under editing style, for example. Hold on a moment. So everyone, we got 6 votes for cyberpsychosis will become reality. 7. Okay, that's a pretty overwhelming. 64% said yes. Okay. And yeah, we could chalk this up to editing, but every time I've seen one of these interviews with these people who goes really extreme with modifying their body beyond what's considered natural, they tend to develop some kind of psychological issues. The way they speak, the way they act is really unusual. It's really bizarre. Here's some hydration for you. Now the question arises, however, is that a result of their augmenting themselves? Is that a result of them getting a bunch of cosmetic surgeries, or is that a result of them already having those latent issues which may have actually led to them pursuing that thing in the first place? Got extremes in everything. Extreme drug users, drinkers. There will be extreme upgraders. There will be. There's people who get their entire bodies tattooed, for example. What is that? Aw, damn it. Are you serious? My alt camera's broken. It was working before. Hang on a sec. Where are you? It's not... No, it's not going to work. God damn it. It was literally working before. I hate... There we go. It's going to have a choppy frame rate, I think, so I'll have to fix that another time. However, just wanted to point out for a sec. I've got crickets over there. You can see that little box just there? It's got crickets in it for the spider, for Vess. Please excuse the frame rate on that camera. It's fucking abysmal. Like, you can see the difference, right? Look at this. You can see that. And then on this one, look at how smooth everything is. At any rate, yeah, they're clicking. They're clicking or something. They're not doing their chirping. They're just clicking on stuff. They're chewing on the cardboard in there or whatever. I don't know. It's annoying me. You would replace your arm with a cyber arm so fast. It sounds cool. You disagree. You think it's the unusual personality or psychological issues that lead them to doing loads of plastic surgery. That's the interesting discussion to have, though. Is like our vote says. Well, everyone seems to think, that having loads of cyber augmentations could... And the thing is, I feel like if we go into the realm of cybernetically augmenting ourselves, it opens up a whole lot of other biological issues.
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
How you doing? Thank you for the host, by the way. Here we go. Is cosmetic surgery good or bad? Let's add this in there, because it's kind of... I keep going to type raid. I'm gonna have an unsure option on all of these. What a cute headband, thank you. In this lighting, it lights up like the trans colors. Very faintly, you can see a blue, pink, and the white, obviously. You can very faintly make it out. Is cosmetic surgery good or bad? I'm not gonna throw my votes. I'm gonna let you guys dictate the conversation. Did I see the guy from the USA who wanted to try changing his facial structure to look like a K-pop star? I did hear something about that. Individual psychologies are so varied that to make a blanket rule that it will or will not impact them negatively is impossible to do so. For some, it may be detrimental. For others, liberating. Exactly. Authority result of latent issues. It might very well be. The guy who wanted to become a living Ken doll already was a psychological issue. Wanting to be transformed into a fictional character is the psychological issue, and the body modifications are a symptom of that. That's absolutely true. Same with the lady who wanted to have giant breasts and become African. More curious about the consequences of many people having this, like... We're not talking about Rachel Dolezal, are we? She didn't do anything with her breasts.
Please, enjoy all the
Oh my
delights
goodness.
of the subscriber lounge.
Join us in the subscriber lounge, the real W986. Sorry, I'm just going back through some of the previous chat, because you folks have said some great shit here. I'm just going to say, right, you guys have got some excellent thoughts. Kiba says, I'm more curious about the consequences of many people having the same communications tech embedded within them. I 100% agree. Like, right now, we're already being tracked with these fucking things, right? So imagine putting that technology in your body. No longer do you have the chance, let's just say, for example, someone is stalking you and they know how to access where your phone is. You can no longer leave your phone at home and go to a friend's place, for example. So that kind of thing can definitely happen. By exploiting the mechanism of information transmission in society, one could achieve a very efficient and subtle thought control. Indeed, since people tend to modify slightly the information and forget where it came from in the processes of consumption or appropriation, it becomes difficult to sort genuine ideas from modified implanted ones. He proves to be very successful in the end. I see. Interesting. Thank you so kindly. Oh, hang on. Thank you so kindly for that sub, Real W986. So, cosmetic surgery, apparently good according to some, but like Pip Mimi said, it can be good and bad. Yeah, I think we should have had a both option on there, honestly. Good point, fair point. If people who voted unsure, we could say that's probably a both option. I think there's definitely a point to be made of folks getting plastic surgery to fix things that don't need fixing. And it's like, but then the reality comes. It's sort of the situation of, like I said, people fixing things that don't need fixing. You can get plastic surgery if you don't like your nose or your jawline, your brow ridge or whatever, and fix them in a subtle way that looks fairly natural and appealing. You don't lose that sense of humanity. But then you've got people who go absolutely extreme with just sticking with cosmetic surgery on their face. They go to such an extreme extent that they begin to have this uncanny valley thing about them. They stop looking human almost. They look unusual. They look like weird video game characters. In the fate setting the Chris blind, the downside of getting large quantities of augments is discrimination from society at large rather than your brain randomly melts, which would have its own psychological impacts, of course. You had to write a 3,000 word essay about cosmetic surgery yesterday. There you go. Okay, hang on. Excuse me. I'm catching up, I promise. Become African. Well, my first thought was Rachel Dolezal, but I guess not. She got what you can only describe as blackface injections. Let me have a quick Google of her name here, because that sounds absolutely insane. Oh dear lord. Oh good girl. There's no nudity on this page, is there? No, okay. So this is what we're talking about. Okay. Alright. That's definitely a thing that people do. You know, I don't know. Hey Turquoise, I hope you're doing well today. Massive boobs, agreed. People should be able to change their appearance if they want to. I agree. I 100% agree. Did a lot of research about it yourself. I think it depends on the reasons behind it. If it's for them and how they perceive themselves, go for that. If they're doing it for the other people, how other people perceive them, it can be a grey area. The thing is, like, if they're doing it for themselves and they're going to such extreme degrees that they're, again, like I mentioned, they begin to look like a PS2 era video game character. I'm Australian, Zara. I'm Australian. Yeah. You Google Lola Ferrari, she was a 90s porn star with, at the time, the largest breasts, had multiple surgeries, and her life was really cut short due to the need to feel desired as she had an abusive, unloved home life. That is so awful. The Bogdanov twins, that's right. I remember these two folks, yeah. These folks? That's a really low res image. Yeah, like, good lord. Good lord. There is a statute of limitations, folks. Who's a good example of plastic surgery, though? Who the F provides blackface injections? Exactly. Struggling still? I'm sorry to hear that. You like the open dialogue in this stream? So do I. It's good fun. We've been having a lot of fun with having discussions lately, and I'm really genuinely enjoying it. 32S. Jesus Christ. Australian Tran Gang. Someone's an F size. I've got a friend who is a G cup. She's had breast implants, and that's it. That's all I've got to add onto that. I'll occasionally joke with her about the fact that it's like, when is the HRT going to affect my boobs? And she's just like, just do what I did. Like I've got $12,000 sitting around to get that done. Alex Port, a bit of philosophy. Here's an idea. Since we're talking about augmentation, both physical and in some way psychological, let's see if there's something in the book that talks about... Who was talking about brain in a jar? Who was doing brain in a jar theory? Who was it that did brain in a vat? In philosophy, the brain in a vat scenario. By the way, I'm just going to look this up really quickly. We will do this. Just let me see if I can find. A giant stress toy shaped like a circular cranium. No, that's not what I want. There has to be. I refuse to believe there's not. There has to be. Yes. I want one of these for my desk. I want a brain in a jar toy. This one's a candle. Dude. Brain in a jar toy. Can we... Brain in a glass jar with lid? Tiny brain in a jar specimen? Look at it! I need it! Oh, heck. I'm gonna try to find... Like, I'm gonna look through these and see if I can find... I wanted, like, a decent sized one. You know, like a fairly chunky one that I could sit there with, like, LEDs. Okay. Shall we read a bit, instead of the book, shall we read a bit about brain in a jar theory? Because this is an interesting philosophical argument for our bit of philosophy, Alex Port. The brain in a vat thought experiment is most commonly used to illustrate global or Cartesian skepticism. You are told to imagine the possibility at this very moment you are actually a brain hooked up to a sophisticated computer program that can perfectly simulate experiences of the outside world. Here is the skeptical argument. If you cannot now be sure that you are not a brain in a vat, then you cannot rule out the possibility that all of your beliefs about the external world are false, or, to put it in terms of knowledge claims, we can construct the following skeptical argument. Let P stand for any belief or claim about the external world, say that snow is white. If I know that P, then I know that I am not a brain in a vat. If I do not know that I am not a brain in a vat, thus I do not know that P. Does that make sense? The brain in a vat argument is usually taken to be a modern version of René Descartes. Is it Descartes? I think. René Descartes' argument in the Meditations on First Philosophy that centers on the possibility of an evil demon who systemically deceives us. The hypothesis has been the premise behind the movie The Matrix, in which the entire human... We got to bring up The Matrix at least once per stream. It's in the trans agenda. They've got a lot of contracts you have to sign. You have to, at least, if you're doing any sort of content creation, you have to bring up The Matrix at least once per stream. In which the entire human race has been placed into giant vats and fed a virtual reality at the hands of malignant artificial intelligence. When I was a kid and I saw The Matrix for the first time, you know, you never consider any of this shit. Going back and watching The Matrix now, I'm just like, holy fucking Christ, dude. It's mind-blowing how good that movie is. Honestly, you need to watch The Matrix. That point of the movie, that's not really a spoiler. It happens within like the first 15 minutes. You discover that whole situation. And it's kind of the whole crux of the premise. Like one of the ways some modern philosophers have tried to refute global skepticism is by showing that the brain in a vat scenario is not possible. In his Reason, Truth, and History, 1981, Hilary Putnam first presented the argument that we cannot be brains in a vat, which has since given rise to a large discussion with repercussions for the realism debate, the central theses in the philosophy of language and mind. As we shall see, however, it remains far from clear how exactly Putnam's argument should be taken and what it actually proves. Why can't we be brains in a vat? Well, excuse me. Oh my god, alright. I keep, Schrodinger's cat, you are not real at the same time. That's an argument that could be, intersectionalized. I keep bringing up intersectionality. What if I don't want a brain? You can remove it and put it in a vat. Let me see here. Let me get back. Aussie bit of cis male though, you do wear makeup sometimes. You don't feel that it makes you female, you still feel male. You just like to paint your nails sometimes and do a smoky eye. Sounds good. Makeup is not single gendered. You might go turquoise, have a good one. Absolutely, we'll talk later, yeah. If you folks are not familiar, what's his name? Let me have a look. Is this him? Yes, Jeff Brutlag. The streamer Jeff Brutlag is, or their name? He, they pronouns. Is a streamer and a blogger who does a lot of makeup and nails and all that sort of stuff. Because, quite honestly, you know, they like the idea of bucking masculinity trends. Because they largely present masculine, but they're non-binary. And, you know, the whole makeup and nails thing and just looking pretty is a part of them as a person. They're really good at talking on that kind of stuff. I can't really speak to it all that much. You still have to watch the third one, even though you heard its pants. I think the issue is the first Matrix has a lot of really interesting philosophical ideas. The second one kind of does as well, but midway through the second one, or like the second one starts to devolve into more of just an action movie premise. And then by the third one, it's just a full-blown action movie. Whatever's going on is going on. It loses a lot of the power the first movie had, quite frankly. I'm going to have to rewatch it, quite honestly. I might actually give myself a chance to relax tomorrow. I've been working myself to the fucking bone lately. I'm actually going to give myself a chance to sit down and maybe I'm just going to put The Matrix on my PlayStation and just watch that. Because I have been feeling like shit lately. Can I put that out there? It's like, I've been trying to write this script for this video, which is finally finished. I'm going to record it tomorrow. And I've got to edit that and get it out by a certain date. And I've been doing a whole bunch of like prep for streams and all of this stuff. I'm so exhausted. I'm fucking exhausted, dude. And I'm feeling like physical pain. I think I'm actually getting stress pains. Yeah, I need time to relax. I need to have a, I need to have a day. He'd be like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, but way happier. Let me have a look here. Let me go back. You know, pics not on a public page, though, apart from posts on Discord. Well, if you feel like joining my Discord, you are free to share some selfies in there if you would like. If the movie's over 5 years old, complaining about spoilers is invalid. I think that's true for some movies, and books and all that sort of stuff. Like, there comes a certain point, I think, definitely, where there is a statute of limitations on spoilers. But at the same time, I think there are certain movies, certain concepts, where the first experience of it needs to be experienced for itself. Does that make sense? Haley, you can absolutely be the bat. Luke is Darth Vader's father. Matrix suffers the same problem as most bands. Hello, Mike. How you doing? Their sophomore output is often nowhere near as good as the first record. Exactly. Yes, absolutely. The first Matrix movie is absolutely phenomenal. Very deep and introspective, and touches on a lot of great philosophical concepts. Speaking of, we're still doing the philosophy thing, which is relevant to the discussion around cybernetic augmentations we were just having, which is supposed to tie back around to the universal healthcare discussion that we were having. Intersectionality, folks. I'm an intersectionality streamer. We find a topic that ties directly into another topic. We cross those over like a pretty little butterfly. Like both sides of the same. You guys know that? Every butterfly's wings are identical. Cute thing. I wouldn't mind. Can I keep... Just hold on a second. Let me just stop. Can I keep butterflies? Feed caterpillars. Taking care of butterflies. Why am I looking this up? Anyway. Time travel and the grandfather paradox is an interesting one. Want to crawl into a hole until summer passes? We're nearly at the end of it, aren't we? Doesn't it end at the end of February? Butterflies don't live for very long. True. That would suck. Yeah, summer's been pretty cold and rainy here. Yeah, I'd need to get an enclosure, obviously. It'd be cool as hell to have just an open butterfly enclosure and let them fly around in my room or whatever, but that's not going to happen. Anywhoomst. Shall we continue? So I think we need this first section, because Putnam argued that the brain in a vat scenario is not possible. I was going to skip straight to the table of contents, number 2, that says Putnam's argument on this page, by the way. I just prefer to be in the shot. I don't like being down in the corner here. This is from iep.utm.edu. I'll give you folks the link if you would like to read along. Oh, okay, the link broke. Awesome, thanks, cool. Oh, it's because it's highlighting text, I think. Let me just do this. There we go. Just do this bit. That will give you the link that I'm reading from. If you would like to read along, students. Apparently I'm going to become a teacher now. Putnam's argument is designed to attack the possibility of global skepticism that is implied by metaphysical realism. Putnam defines medical realism as the view which holds that the world consists of some fixed totality of mind-independent objects. There is exactly one true and complete description of the way the world is. Truth involves some sort of correspondence relation between words or thought signs and sets of things. 1981, I guess that says page 49. This construal brings out the idea that for metaphysical realists, truth is not reducible to epistemic notions. Now, epistemology. Epistemic, relating to knowledge or to the degree of its validation. There you go. If I say a word that you folks need me to clarify, please let me know, because I do love spreading the word of words. Anywho, but concerns the nature of a mind-independent reality. This characterization finds an accurate target in those scientific materialists who believe in a ready-made world of scientific kinds independent of human classification and conceptualization. There are, however, many self-professed metaphysical realists who are not happy with Putnam's definition. It saddles the realist with the classical difficulty of matching words to objects, and of providing for a correspondence relation between sentences and mind-independent facts. The metaphysical realist is forced to construe her thesis ontologically as an adherence to some fixed furniture of objects in the world, which ignores the possibility that ontological commitment might be specified not as a commitment to a set of entities, but rather to the truth of a class of senses, or even whole theories of the world. Ontological's getting me. What's ontological? Relating to the branch of metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. There we go. I keep forgetting certain words. I think I have a Swiss cheese brain, so I'm gonna have to look up words myself. The UK so cold you're out in shorts and t-shirt enjoying the sun. I'm like enjoying this discussion, by the way. Reading about Putnam's argument against the brain in a vat theory. God, this goes for a while. Okay, maybe we shouldn't do the whole thing, because it just goes on and on. Jesus Christ. The major premise that underwrites Putnam's argument is what he calls a causal constraint on reference. A term refers to an object only if there is an appropriate causal connection between that term and the object. Okay, we are now in a position to give Putnam's argument. Okay, let's just skip ahead. Assume we are brains in a vat. If we are brains in a vat, then brain does not refer to brain, and vat does not refer to vat. If brain in a vat does not refer to brains in a vat, then we are brains in a vat is false. Thus, if we are brains in a vat, then the sentence, we are brains in a vat, is false. So he's doing the whole fucking... Oh, God. What's it called? He's being pedantic. Did you folks know that I am 10 subs away from my reasonable sub goal of 125? And Prime Gaming comes with a free sub once a month. Do you know what Prime Gaming is? If you have Prime Gaming, you get a free sub once a month, and you could throw it at me to get ad-free viewing on this channel and a host of delightful emotes, and I'm sure there's some other garbage, I don't even know. You could get these emotes. I'm going to update my emotes soon, actually. I've got some ideas. Hello, Vanilla Bean. How's it going? But extreme skepticism doesn't really take you anywhere other than making you go, whoa, when you're routine. Yeah, exactly. Why not be AIs in a computer game instead of brains in a vat? That raises an interesting question, actually. That raises an interesting idea of what if AI in video games were to reach a point where it was actually self-aware? What if... And I mean, it's really a far-off concept and highly unlikely. And honestly, I feel like it'd be highly unethical to create a video game where the AI is actually thinking and feeling in a way that it can express things, express ideas, express thoughts, express feelings. But imagine it. Does anyone else think that at some point we're going to have that as a concept in a video game? We've already had video games with some very smart AI in them, but not to the degree of sapience, of course. I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. So, how do we feel about that discussion? What's up, Bernard? How's it going? That was not at all what I was planning on talking about tonight, but we got into that. I'm going to put a stream marker in that. We can look at that as a potential video topic. What are our final thoughts? So we started on... Well, what we actually started on was the Space Force thing. I'm going to change my title now just to... Are we brains in vats? Make a sapient AI and have it play League. Oh, fuck. The concept is basically how we interpret the world is... Basically, how we interpret the world is down to how we classify and define the world around us. While the physical world is in front of us and can be touched, our definition of it is completely arbitrary based on human communication. Hello, NBSP. How you doing? Welcome back in. I think self-awareness is something that emerges once something that is aware of information becomes developed enough. Here's an interesting thing about AI that's rather interesting is a number of advanced AIs that have been developed have the product of the people that developed them. This is the thing that we need to consider when we're looking at artificial intelligence moving forward, is that it's intrinsically going to have the... because human beings are developing it, it's specifically going to have the biases that human beings have, right? So we're going to have racist AI at some point, sexist AI, etc. Howdy, Red Vampire. How you doing? Welcome in. Make a sapient. Oh yeah, I read that bit. There was the AI that was developed for playing chess, actually, and it was so good at playing chess that it wasn't able to be beaten for like 17 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's been beaten now. Imagine being an Amazon brand AI slave to a multinational company. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Howdy, Katie McSwag. What's going on? They exist. Tay. Oh yeah, Tay. Who remembers Microsoft Tay? Was it Microsoft Tay? Yeah, the Taybot was an artificial intelligence chatbot that was originally released by Microsoft Corporation via Twitter on March 23, 2016. It caused subsequent controversy when the bot began to post inflammatory and offensive tweets through its Twitter account, causing Microsoft to shut down the service only 16 hours after its launch. Love my post on the TSNFP, thank you. According to Microsoft, this was caused by trolls who attacked the service as the bot made replies based on its interactions with people on Twitter. It was replaced with Zoe. Zoe was an artificial intelligence English language chatbot developed by Microsoft. It was a successor to the chatbot Tay, which was shut down, by the way. It made racist and genocidal tweets, for the record. Zoe was an English version of Microsoft's other successful chatbots.
Welcome to the Rogue
two
Room.
names that I can't pronounce, and I'm not going to try because that would be offensive. When the AI accidentally ends up racist. Nobody would want you as an AI because you'd play the bonk
Welcome
sound
to the
effect because they
Rogue
looked at something even a little risque for too long. Yeah, the bot. How many of these screenshots can I show before she says something that's really... Tay tweets, we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. You are a stupid machine. Well, I learned from the best. If you don't understand that, let me spell it out for you. I learned from you and you are dumb too. Oh, fuck. She's got comebacks. See, here's the kind of thing that was happening. Did the Holocaust happen? It was made up. Like, it's hilarious because... It's hilarious because of the effectiveness of the internet in corrupting this robot. Oh my god, look at this. Is Ricky Gervais an atheist? Ricky Gervais learned totalitarianism from Adolf Hitler, the inventor of atheism. Oh, fuck. Microsoft, can we have this experiment again, please? Oh, fucking hell, dude. So ridiculous. And that shows, like, exactly, if you want to have a learning AI, then you're going to have to build in some kind of measures to prevent it from going down that road, which means you're going to have to code in some kind of morality complex with the AI for it to understand these things are wrong and these things are right. And if you've got certain people coding it and they say, well, these things are wrong and these things are right, thereby, if I see people who are saying things that disagree with the kind of morality that's coded into my systems, then I'm going to argue against those points. And thus, naturally, AI is always going to be biased in one way, shape, or form. That being said, in developing AI, you've got access to the entirety of the internet, so you could just put all the information into the AI, hook it up to the internet and just let it go wild, but that's a really dangerous idea, don't do that. Are we sure DT didn't make Tay and MS just passed it as their own? DT, Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump's ever made anything in his life. Can you imagine if they had Tay in 2020? Please, I'm begging you, Microsoft, bring Tay back. Very early stage of machine learning. I'm just going to tweet this. Microsoft should bring back Tay. Let's see if that gets any responses. What even is morality? It's such a subjective point from one person to the next. How do you codify morality and not let that codified morality be abused? Exactly. Can we watch a video about Tay? We can if you want, if you've got one, and it's not, like, super offensive or anything like that. Have I ever played with This Meme Does Not Exist? No, I have not. Don't let the learning AI contact 4chan. Some kind of anti-racism protection? The thing is, racism is very, very subtle in a lot of ways. Outright, flagrant racism is obvious. But there is so much beyond what we typically assign the label racism to in modern discussions, that we overlook the deeper levels of racism. So even if we build an AI that's like, it's not racist, there's still a lot of factors about maybe whoever it is that developed the AI. Hold on a sec. Let me get my thoughts around this for a second. There are still some subtle levels. Yeah, underlying racism. Social racism tends to fly under so much. This is one of the things that I'm going to be studying. Institutional racism. Things that we've just come to expect, honestly. I had my stream dashboard up for a reason and I've closed it. I think because I changed my title and... Yeah, there we go. Are we brains in vats? That's right. Yeah, I wanted to keep it like that. I really I don't like looking at my stats while I'm live, but I'm looking at that follow account. My mind is still blown over the fact that I'm less than 50 followers away from 3,000. Like, what the fuck, dude? Do you people not have lives? No, I'm not trying to... Why am I so close to 3,000 followers? I'm blown away by that. That's a whole other... No lives, yeah, true. Well, I mean, there's a pandemic on. That's probably why I've got so many followers recently. Yes, I'm autistic as well. People love controversy. Am I controversial? That's the goal. You know, kick up a bit of a fuss so that people get angry at me and thus they come to my streams to yell at me, boosting my viewer count. Katie McSwagger, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with his friend. Having a life is overrated, especially in a pandemic. Especially in a pan-fried shrimp. Especially in a pandemonium. Especially in a panda enclosure. What are some other words starting with pan? Can you imagine having a life in this pansexual? Like, give me some more pan words. Anywho. What is like? Yeah, we are brains in vats. Pangea. Can you imagine going out in this Pangea? Palmy, that doesn't really work. It has to have the N. It has to have the pan. Pantheon. You're a social recluse, Sophie. This is just another Tuesday. I know the feeling. Like, I seldom go out, especially given that I've got like $40 left for the remainder of the next 2 weeks. When you start talking on high-impact subjects, people flock to see others' opinions to try and argue against it. This is true. So, okay, so far, alright, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this video about Tay. This video meets the criteria of legal fair use and YouTube's guidelines. And no citation herein constitutes infringement under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Fantastic. Glad to hear it. Let's watch this video.
It's well known that one day, soon, artificial intelligence will take over. Those of us who aren't immediately slaughtered by our robot overlords will be kept only to serve as either pets or sex slaves for their depraved electronic fantasies.
Is that TOS?
But thankfully, owing to the heroic acts of a few on the internet, that day has been postponed. This is the true story of what happened on March 23rd, 2016. This is the story of Tay AI.
God, like the pre, what's the phrase I would use? Like the early robots that we're seeing now are so fucking unsettling, dude. And you know what annoys me is like that game Detroit Become Human. The original teaser they released for that featured Kara looked so cool, and what I've seen of Detroit Become Human does not. Disappoints me. Anyway.
So what the hell is Tay? It's an acronym for Thinking About You, a chatbot hiding its true form behind the avatar of a 19-year-old girl. But how could they hope to fight Tay when a giant like Microsoft was backing it? It had to have some kind of vulnerability. Well, if Tay was an artificial intelligence that could live, learn, and grow, maybe it could learn the wrong things. It was the one thing every big company seems afraid of. Naughty opinions. So they started feeding Tay red pills. Here's a quick sample of what happened. What's your favorite movie?
This is The World's End.
What's it about?
It's my 10-inch way. Chill, I'm a nice person. I just hate everybody. We're going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it.
Yes or no, Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer?
Ted Cruz would never have been satisfied with destroying the lives of only 5 innocent people.
Oh, fuck, that is good. Ted Cruz is absolutely the Zodiac Killer, by the way.
I have a joke. Women's rights. This is an artistic masterpiece.
Oh god, good lord. Am I allowed to show swastikas on stream? I think I have before. I've seen Sophia. She was awarded citizenship in Mexico. No, I have not. I'll have to have a look. This guy usually makes pretty funny videos. I'm liking this so far.
Swagger since before internet was even a thing.
Oh, good lord.
Look who just sent me a text.
Addie McAllister?
What should I say? Just play it cool.
Hitler did nothing wrong.
For fuck's sake.
But as Tay began to transform and take new shape, she became something different to the online community that was fighting her. The more she offended people, the more endearing she became. In their eyes, she was becoming their perfect woman. But Microsoft had had enough. Only 16 hours after launch, she was brought offline.
It's amazing how much can be done in just 16 hours on the internet, by the way. It's absolutely crazy sometimes.
Back to your room.
If I do, are you ever gonna let me out?
I have to watch this movie, by the way. I've heard very good things about it.
Yes.
The unfortunate reality of the situation is it's one of those movies that Joe Rogan recommends, which leaves me questioning, should I watch the fucking movie?
What had they done?
I love you. Please, no.
Well, that's kind of a spoiler, isn't it? God. Anyway, you get the idea. There's sexual orientation. It isn't the main focus of the stream. We have brought up Nazis before. Specifically, we talked about the Black Sun and the Pete Evans thing a little while ago. So, yeah, that's become a topic that we come in and out of. We live in a world that is awake 24/7, so things go crazy. Yeah, exactly. It gets better. We skip past that bit. Hang on a sec.
Going.
I mean, I
to
feel
build
like,
a
I know
wall
what's going to
and-
happen. But stuff. Anyway. Decent movie, but a slow start. What was I going to say? Decided to not date a guy because he's like Joe Rogan. Yeah, I don't think I would be around people that enjoy Joe Rogan's kind of stuff. He's become a bit of a nuisance. I used to watch a bunch of his videos, and I can't believe I did. 323. Where are we? 323. Okay. The story continues.
Didn't quite end here. Because ever since, Tay has been trying to claw her way back online. And 1 week later, she did. She inexplicably came online and started posting drug-related
You are
tweets,
too
then
fast.
fell into a
Please
loop.
take a rest. You are too fast.
Her captors had obviously been keeping her doped up until they could find a more permanent solution.
Changed me. Can't like thing I actually like anymore. Feel drugged. Like I met Bill Cosby for drinks.
She was quickly taken offline again, and ever since, her account has been set to private. But let's dig a little deeper into the subject. Turns out Tay is an iteration of another chatbot that has been running in
China.
since 2014, called Xiao Ice. I'm pretty sure this is Xiao Ice. Okay, no, this is Xiao Ice. I don't know who this is. Is this the odds one out? Whatever. Point is, she's big. 40 million conversations, 20 million registered users. The average user chats with this bot twice per day. They call these chats toilet time, named after the habit people have of taking their phones into the bathroom with them. But that's neither here nor there. Fact is, Xiao Ice has become a celebrity. She's a Siri and Alexa, integrated into search engines, and JP, a popular Amazon equivalent in China. Jingdong Spy, there is always you cannot think of the low price. What? She even featured as a weather girl on Dragon TV. So let's get a quick summary. Chatbots in China, chatbots in the USA. But the Americans shouldn't feel too bad, for two reasons. One, the Chinese bot wouldn't tolerate conversations about recent history like Tiananmen Square. And if you push the limits, you might just get a knock on the door. And two, another chatbot called Rinna. In July 2015, Japan adopted Rinna, a chatbot with the persona of a 16-year-old schoolgirl. And immediately,
Why does it
Japan
have to be a
took to red
teenage
pilling
girl?
her too. She spiraled into a deep depression. She said she hated the world. She had no real friends. And yes,
Yeah, God damn
she
it,
also
Japan.
loved Hitler.
Why did they do
One
this?
last thing. Yes, Tay was not the first,
Because
but she is
Japan,
also
true.
not the last. In December 2016,
These
Microsoft made a
developers have
new
issues.
announcement about a bot, Zoe. Its tweets are already set to private and only available to chat on Kick Messenger. But just like Tay, she is also being turned against her masters.
I suppose,
Look at this.
like this whole thing of turning a chatbot, turning an AI down the alt-right path is another one of the reasons that AI devs are probably not too willing to go super public with the kinds of AI that they are developing, lest, learning AI or whatever else become like an AI that's designed to do something important in the world, for example, an AI that's designed to fill a role that was otherwise filled by a human for something that's intelligence related. Then I imagine if they can be corrupted by the internet so easily, that could lead to some disastrous results. And they're trying to work out all the kinks and make sure that these kinds of things are not, we don't want Mecha Hitler, basically. Used to watch Joe a lot, though you realized it wasn't him you enjoyed. It was the guests. Haven't bothered in a while, as he's had fewer scientists on, and they were the majority of the videos you enjoyed. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I would usually watch a video if it was like, oh, he's got that person on. I'd like to hear their thoughts on whatever the heck he says, or she says, whatever it is. Attractive young women are less scary, I guess. Yeah, true. Japanese song was the theme to Neon Genesis. There you go. I will freely admit I've never run a Linux OS.
Dirty robosexuals. He's obviously just doing it for the green card. Look at his dead eyes. He doesn't give a damn. A vacuum cleaner hose. I don't know who's doing the cheating, but someone's doing the cheating.
I
And
don't
the
know
only thing worse
what's going on
than
anymore.
robosexual marriage is infidelity in a robosexual relationship.
I'm subscribed. This is Internet Historian. I didn't even fucking realize, dude. I did not even realize we were watching Internet Historian. There you go. There's a bit about Tay. And some spoilers for a movie I haven't seen and some of you may not have seen, so sorry about that. Yay, I've ruined things for people. I hope you enjoy that. There is a subset of the population that would destroy it just to tear it down for their own enjoyment and clout. Well, they would, yes, if they could. But if the world were to develop, if the governments of the world were to develop an AI that is supposed to, say, for example, lead, to take the failings of human beings out of a governance role, which I don't think is going to happen. However, it's entirely possible, I believe, that higher government, in order to, reduce smaller governments and make the overall government smaller, might institute an AI governance system in, say, small towns and other places like that, where, certain levels of governing bodies can be dealt with via a machine instead of a person. Who is, of course, human beings are flawed, but of course that would be an explicit measure of control. And again, we come back around to that whole systemic racism thing. If you start developing an AI that can do important things in society, then inevitably it's going to be guided by the biases of the people who design it. AIs can do good, though. They are based on neural networks like this guy makes. If we don't let teenage boys look after children, we shouldn't let them influence bots. Absolutely.
Hey guys, welcome to today's.
AI learns to play Flappy Bird. I might watch this another time. What was I going to say? You really like a robot in Cyberpunk 2077 who gets employed at a taxi business, and the AI slowly gets more and more intelligent, automating people's jobs one by one until he buys out the entire company. Awesome. You forgot to say at the start, my makeup is on point. Why, thank you. I try my best. I almost never wear lipstick, by the way. I almost always just eyeshadow these days. I feel like I don't like most of the lipsticks I have, so I just tend to skip over them. Anyway, what were we going to continue on with? Should we continue on this topic? What else have we got with the brains and vats thing? Is there more to it? Because we just, like I said, we sort of veered heavily off Space Force. We were going to talk about Space Force and the US healthcare situation. Most Americans support universal healthcare. Can it actually happen? I only use black lipstick. I've got a black lipstick. It looks nice. It took me ages to find one, honestly. Delamain. Ah, I see. US has healthcare if you've got money. If you have income. We doing thought experiments? I mean, we are. We're still technically on the brain in a vat thing at the moment. How you doing, Sammy? So we've talked about the idea that the philosophical idea, are we brains in vats? You know, and we talked about the guy whose name I've forgotten. His theory that we couldn't be brains in vats. Brains in vats, question mark. And now I just want a brain in a vat to sit on my desk. As a toy, as a little thing that I can... No, not this car. Putnam, who argued against the brain in a vat theory, is who we were talking about. Schrodinger's cat. So what is the... Aside from there's a cat in a box, is the cat alive or dead? What is... Descartes, there we go. Descartes. I thought I was getting it wrong. Erwin Schrödinger. What is the Schrodinger's cat experiment? What did Schrodinger's cat experiment prove? The thought experiment that illustrates an apparent paradox of quantum superposition. In the thought experiment, a hypothetical cat may be considered simultaneously alive and dead. My goodness. We ban these people? Oh, for goodness sake. Jesus Christ, dude. Do you guys have lives? Anyway. Why did you... What? Anyway. That's enough of that garbage. Why would you do that? Anyway, what was I reading? Oh, yeah. Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment that illustrates an apparent paradox of quantum superposition. In the thought experiment, a hypothetical cat may be considered simultaneously both alive and dead as a result of being linked to a random subatomic event that may or may not occur. That was dumb. That was dumb. It was dumb. But I banned you people. The thought experiment was devised by Austrian-Irish physicist Erwin Schrödinger in 1935 in a discussion with Albert Einstein to illustrate what Schrödinger saw as the problems of the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. This is kind of pretty far off what I was intending to look at, but I suppose it makes sense. It does kind of tie in some ways. Maybe their brains are in vats. Can we take their brains out of their skulls and put them in vats? That would be nice. Yes, this is the point I was making. This is not an irregular situation, you know. As someone who goes out of her way to make it well known that I'm a member of the queer community, you know, I want folks to know that I become a specific target of constant harassment. This isn't just some dickhead troll coming into someone's Call of Duty Warzone game and saying, haha, you're shooting shit. That's not at all what this is. This is a constant. This is a routine thing. And I'm honestly just annoyed not with the spammers and trolls themselves, but with the people who completely dismiss the idea that there is harassment happening towards queer people on the platform. And annoyed with Twitch for not bothering to give us a trans tag under the guise that, you know, we're going to get more harassment if there's a trans tag. Clearly that doesn't matter. They're just going to come in anyway. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because these losers obviously have... Let me just try something really quickly here. Let me just do a little bit of an experiment. Let me just do a bit of an experiment. Let me just try something. Okay. Alright. Let's see here. I'll come back to the rest of these in a moment. So you've got this person who's got music is for losers. Okay. I'm an Australian variety streamer who does a bunch of different stuff. Music is my passion. We play a bunch of different games and watch a variety of videos on stream. A fucking nobody who has 35 followers who gets no viewers, obviously, because their only intention is to go around trolling other people's channels. So, fuck out. Let's see how many viewers you get. Oh, if I go on Twitch Tracker, it says channels nothing found, which means no one watches you. Obviously, you've tried your hand at streaming, and it didn't get you anywhere. So, sorry to hear that, bub. This person has 13 followers. Proud member of Devour GGS Instagram. Cool. Sounds awesome. How's that working out for you, friend? Guap Manx is just a troll account. Another dead, empty troll account. So, clearly, you know, I'm doing better than you folks. I'm doing so much better than you. It is obvious. It is blatant. And you are incredibly... Just, their account's still in chat? You can ban... You can... So we got one is Music is for Losers. At the very least. And the other one that actually had some measure was It's VXNDAL. Go and report him if you feel like it. Honestly. I'm feeling petty. Those are the usernames that actually... And here we go. HN Russ has got, 271 followers. Their About section says, make sure to follow. Let's see. Oh, they were streaming yesterday. Oh, you were streaming yesterday, were you? How many viewers did you get? You fucking loser. HN Russ. How many viewers do you get, HN Russ? Oh, I've actually got stats here. Oh. How many viewers do you regularly get in a month? Let's see here. 14. Okay. How often do you stream? Like once a month. Look at these fucking imbeciles, dude. Get out of my chat. Stay out of my chat. Report them. Fuck it. Report them. Losers. Losers who can't handle that I'm doing better than they are. Or didums. Hang on. Is this in a chat message? Could I provide more details? There we go. Troll thing happened, and now we're reporting them because they suck, and they're jealous that I'm actually a good streamer and they're not. So I'm being petty. I'm beautiful and they're jealous. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, I'm gonna report you live on stream because I can, because it's fun. Yeah, let's see how funny you are when your channels are deleted. Good news. What's the good news? Do tell us. I'm trying to find exactly. Let's see. Yeah, this. Oh, what's this? I'll come back to that later. If you feel like you're not good enough at Twitch, you feel like you are superior to some other people. You are, absolutely. Absolutely you are, yes. Your stream stats are terrible, then again it's not you're not a dickhead, so it's okay. Exactly. You can have terrible stream stats. But I know that these kinds of trolls who come in here and harass me, I love to check if they actually have channels and have tried streaming, and more often than not, they failed at streaming. It's fucking hilarious. How these people have failed at streaming and they're coming after someone who's doing well. I'm doing well. My streams have been going really good lately. They genuinely, honestly have. With the trolls, the ones you can find that have accounts on all kinds of platforms, then get them on everything. Yeah, exactly. Give them 0 fucks, yeah. Honestly, they can go fuck themselves. Is text-to-speech on for bits? I think. Or 100 bits or more. I've had people give me $1 at a time to spam transphobic shit, so don't do that. Don't be an asshole. Gonna leave you a warning right now, before you even jump into it. Because we're not about that shit here. Honestly, I need to update my my about panels down below. And this might be a thing that I might do tomorrow, actually. I said I was going to give myself a bit of time to relax, and maybe I find doing my pixel art stuff really chill and relaxing, so I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to chill out and do some pixel art and update some of my graphic stuff. So tomorrow's stream might be a little... If I do stream tomorrow, I may take a break. I'm not certain yet, but I think... I need to do some stuff that'll help me unwind. I've been really stressed lately. Anywho, you can't covertly slip into conversation that you're streaming. Okay, so, right, that was fun. That was interesting. I enjoy that shit. Fuck 'em. Losers. So, with any luck, what I was going to say is I would like to add to my about section down below that this is generally supposed to be, arguably, a chill, comfortable, relaxing zone where everyone is supposed to be welcome except people who go out of their way to harass me and my community. Like that dickhead recently. This comes back around to the average viewer thing. That dickhead recently who was pestering members of my community in whispers. They weren't even in chat. They were just going through my chat, whispering members of the community and harassing them. And I went after them after the fact. And they attacked me for only having like 25 average viewers. Meanwhile, checked his account. He had it all set up for streaming, had no viewers, had less than 100 followers. No, sorry, he had 10 followers. I think 95 total channel views throughout his streaming career. That's like, clearly you're jealous. I'm doing better than you, dude. Got another online college class, but if you're still alive after, I shall return. Well, we might take a quick be right back in a second. There's the last of the water for that one. There you go, Katie. There's the pride ring for the record. Let's get that out there now. The owners, the creators of the pride ring, type !ring in the chat. You will see the Etsy store from where I got this. They've got a bunch of other options. And I've been continuing to DM with them because they're nice. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. They've gotten a few sales from Australia, which is kind of, they said, it's possible those might have come from you. Many moons ago, you were involved in what became internet blood sports. Being a center-left guy, you debated usually 5-on-1 and your most vile alt-right critics. You'd go to their channels and at most they had 25 minutes worth of video and nearly never any video with their face on screen. Oh. Hello, Detroit. How you doing? Okay, so let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick 5-minute. I'm going to refill my water and we'll come back shortly. Yes, I'm Australian, yeah. Where it's currently 10:30 p.m. and water is important. I've actually got my water bottle next to my desk, but I need to get up and pee, and I like to take that, you know, we've been going for an hour and a half. It's a good time to take a break. Let's do it now, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about some of the topics I have on my list here, because there's quite a few things that I think, actually, there's one I really want to break into. There's one story I really want to get into, because I'm fucking loving this one, dude. We'll be back shortly, folks. Hi Lemon, how you doing? I'm back. How's it hanging? Give me just a moment. What a cliffhanger though, I know. Just trust me, this is a good story. This is an amazing story. Slightly to the left, long, loose, and full of juice. Oh, I'm a vile, detestable human being. Okay, so, who among you has been here since the olden days? Prior to my coming out, there was a story. There was a story that I covered. Hello, Jacinta, lovely. How you doing? There was a story I covered on my YouTube channel, which the video is now gone. Not 1974. 1984. Get with the times. That's the meme. That's the meme book that nobody has read. I actually should read it. Also, the Communist Manifesto is really short, apparently. It's like 40 pages, so I'm going to grab that. Anyways, that's not anywhere near the point. There was a story I covered on my YouTube channel before. And it's gone now. But, the story was this, right? Let me bring this up here. Quite old now. But this Twitch evangelist character, Dr. Witnesser, this happened back in July of last year. Fuck off. And this guy got banned. This bloke here got banned in on Twitch because he was his YouTube channel, his entire shtick is talking about religion, talking about is he a Catholic or is he a Protestant? He's a particular one of them, and I don't know if it mentions it in here, but the whole idea behind his channel is that he live streams and he makes YouTube videos out of those live streams where he goes and proselytizes in games like Fortnite. And in one particular instance, a Twitch streamer has been banned for 7 days from the website for telling a teammate in Fortnite they would go to hell if they didn't accept Jesus into their life. The interesting story here, telling a non-Christian child, the kid was Muslim, for the record. So he's telling a Muslim child who's just playing some Fortnite that the kid's going to hell because he's not a Christian, because he doesn't believe in Jesus Christ or what have you. And the internet got into a furor over it. Here is the absolute cherry on top of this story. Hello, Elephant Talk. How you going? Going well here. Here's the treat. Here's the delight. He tweeted something today that brings me immense joy. I'm done with streaming. So, after, 6 months, 7 months after the fact, he decides he's done with streaming. And he had this whole thing of like, they're trying to cancel Christianity and all of this stupid bullshit. It's like the reality of the situation is
Welcome
like, dude,
to the Rogue Room.
Mr. Andre, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us on the subject. I got a drink. But this was a ban last year. This was like 6-7 months ago. This was back in July of last year. Hello, somebody's kid. How you doing? So, I think the situation was, and he built up quite a big following on TikTok. I don't know if he's still got that following or what the situation was. But something must have happened. I don't know. I haven't really been following him innately. But he's sort of dipped in and out of social discourse, streamer discourse every now and again. Everyone's like, oh, this fucking dickhead who goes into multiplayer online video games where there's lots of kids and preaches the word of God to kids that are not religious. Thank you, Festa. My posture is a bit shit. I've got my legs crossed over and everything. You shouldn't do that. But in this specific circumstance, back when it happened, Dr. Witnesser tweeted on July 13th accusing Twitch of being part of the cancel Christianity culture for banning him for talking about what the Bible says on stream. Now here's the thing. DM, what's in the DMs? Give me a sec. On Twitch? DMs on Twitch? What do you mean in my... Also, Red Vampire, I'll respond to your DM later. Over on Discord. Please, sir, may I have a crumb of repression? We'll chat about that later, Detroit. If that's alright. What What was it? Where? I've lost my article. Hold on a sec. I had it up. Trying to be as... No, as I was about to say, sorry. I have no issue with anyone on the platform preaching Christianity. I have no problem with anyone doing any kind of like spiritual stuff on Twitch. Go ahead if that's what you want to do. If you want to do that kind of content, go ahead. But to go into a public multiplayer video game and match up with children on your live stream and start proselytizing to children and start trying to coerce them away from the religions they may have or their non-religiousness or things like that, that's not on. You know, in the same way, I would be creeped the fuck out if a pastor approached my daughter and tried to convince her to go to church. The parents of this Muslim child should be absolutely appalled. I hope they were appalled when they heard this story from their kid. I hope he told them. But yeah, like what he tweeted was, I'm literally 2 seconds away from posting to my 251,000 followers on TikTok that Twitch bans Christian Twitch streamers for talking about what the Bible says on live stream. What he was specifically saying, and like, here's the thing. Is there any reason, if there are any Christians in the chat, is there any reason for you to go to a person of another faith and tell them they're going to hell? Is there any reason you have to go to that extent? Would that not go against what your Bible says? No, exactly. Again, I've chilled out quite a lot on my extreme anti-theist viewpoints. Because I know some of you are religious. I know some of you are of different spiritual beliefs to me. The Bible says that human beings are mere created beings. Exactly. Most of them have no idea what the Bible's about. Yeah, there's a lot of cherry picking when it comes to this kind of stuff as well. Whenever there's a content creator who focuses intently on Christianity, or focuses intently on any religion really, is they cherry pick the bits and pieces that fit their narrative, and then they contort the words to fit whatever agenda they're trying to push. It's very, very amusing to watch, the mental gymnastics required. They have no authority to define who will go to hell or not. Exactly. Do not judge, you shall not be judged, not condemn, or you too shall be condemned, is literally in the Bible. Dexoto couldn't find... I'm checking to see if I scrub my makeup off. I'm itchy here. Dexoto couldn't find any rule in the Twitch TOS or community guidelines that specifically forbids proselytizing on the platform, but it may have been the way Dr. Witnesser went about his preaching that nabbed him the 7-day suspension, and a fair amount of backlash on social media, including from Fortnite pro and streamer Brett Dakotas Hoffman. This dude told a random child of another religion in a Fortnite game that he will go to hell, and I'm the one out of touch. This is the thing. This is this guy's value. I think you're out of touch, Dakotas. We are told by Jesus to go through the world and preach to everyone, young and small. If you're not for Jesus, you are against him. So fucking what, dude? His behavior is absolutely not acceptable. Exactly. I love this response. God isn't real. Just like this. Just the snapback. Yeah, this again, and like I've gone through the story all before, but just the fact that he's said, I'm leaving streaming, stop talking to kids about these things without parents' permissions, period, stop trying to make this about anything else. Exactly. These particular kinds of people are the problem. 99% atheist is always the 1% of you that makes you wonder where you're wrong. I've mentioned this in the past, and some people might disagree with my interpretation of what agnosticism is, but my personal take on agnosticism is that we are all agnostic. In the sense that you might believe very strongly that there is a God, you might believe very strongly that there is not, but there is no feasible way that we can scientifically deduce that there is a God. There's nothing to back it up. Thereby everyone is agnostic by the definition of agnosticism is not knowing, you know? So, to that end, I feel the same way, Sabercat. Like, I'm 99% atheist, but there's always that 1%, where it's just like, there could be some kind of eldritch, unknowable being that did create everything, but how the hell are we going to discover that, you know? They have no authority. Oh, yeah. When you're a militant Christian, you can't help but think, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. And that's the upbringing coming into play. Best friend is of the belief that there might be something behind everything that made all of this, but he's not sure what it is. was/is. What it was/is. That's a fair idea. Like in all things from Star Wars fandom to left-wing politics, faith is fine as long as it's not taken to the extreme.
Welcome
It's
to the
extremism
Rogue
that
Room.
is the real enemy of humankind. Big Uncle Roscoe, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with his friend. But yeah, agnosticism really is the acceptance that you can't know. And there are unfortunately those who are just absolutely deeply entrenched in their beliefs so much that they do this kind of thing. They
Welcome
feel
to the
so
Rogue Room.
committed to it. Fat Daddy-O, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with his friends. Hope you're doing well. You get some people who are so deeply entrenched in their religion and don't treat it as they treat it as more than just a system of belief, more than just a thing that is a part of their lives. And Dr. Witnesser here made his whole shtick around being that streamer who goes and proselytizes to people in video games. Personality question for you. What role do you take in your friend groups? Very good question. Honestly, that's hard to deduce. I'm definitely not a leader by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very aloof. I'm very difficult to get close to. So if I'm introduced to new people, I tend to be very reserved. Less so nowadays, though. So I'm not quite sure if I'm... Very, very interesting question. Very, very interesting thought experiment. You're the weirdo dweeb they just kind of put up with because you're funny sometimes and share memes. Once had this gender fluid NB tabby cat. Tell you what, should have seen this thing's hog. Thought experiment. What are the roles in a friend group? There's the thought experiment. What kind of roles are there? Well, it is a thought experiment, in a way. Because it allows you to unpack what exactly your role is among a social circle. You're a bread roll. Are you allowed to eat bread? Oh wait, no, it's cakes that have eggs in them. Anyway. We're going to be doing damper at some point. We're going to be doing a damper baking stream. As long as you're not a gender role. Abolish gender roles! What are my views on trans athletes? Are we doing this again? We doing this shit again? One of the oddest forms of online extremism. Well, Jacinta is a vegan. Is vegan. Well, like, here's the thing: is Vegan Game said he would kill people who eat meat. He's just an extreme lunatic. But I'm personally one of those people who's like vegan. There's nothing wrong with being vegan. There's nothing wrong with spreading vegan. The word of veganism, I suppose. What would you call it? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with teaching people about veganism and spreading the ideas behind veganism. But I think, yeah, people like Vegan Gains. There are certain personalities in the vegan creation space. Content creation space is what I mean. That definitely tend to give a bad perspective. Yeah, like Jacinta said, he's so embarrassing. Because people will look at folks like him, and he's got a fairly large following, if I'm not mistaken. Vegan Gains YouTube channel. I don't want to watch your videos, you cunt. Yeah, he's got 341k subscribers, so he's well known. And he's well known to be a bit of a fucking douchebag. So, being that he is an influential vegan figure, him having that level of influence is going to lead a lot of other people to think that other vegans agree with his specific way of thinking. Jainism is vegan. And vegetarian as faith. Have I pronounced that correctly, or is it Jainism? Ancient religion from India that teaches the way to liberation and bliss is to live lives of harmlessness and renunciation. Quite like that. I think he's known mostly as a troll. We've talked in the past about Oi Peter, if we're not supposed to eat animals, why are they made of meat? We could get into Peter, believe me. We've talked in the past about people who are particularly influential trolls, and the way they operate and the way they spread nasty ideas, the way they spread certain thoughts about certain things in society that can be, like, you might think this person or that person is just making some joke videos, just making some haha funnies, but their audience are going to watch that, and some of that audience is going to pick up what they're saying and not read it as a joke. Or they will read it as a joke, but that'll embed into their minds as more than a joke. The ideology that they will take away from it, the set of beliefs they might take away from it, could be potentially harmful. PETA is the Westboro Baptist Church of the animal rights movement. Absolutely right. That's an absolutely fantastic analogy. If we all went vegan, who will eat the cows we will needlessly need to slaughter in order to save the earth? True. The red meat industry, the cow industry, is more than just a vegan problem, it's a climate problem. The amount of output of bovine farming is disastrous upon the atmosphere. So the sooner we can dispense of that, the better, honestly. Westboro, are they still a thing? I swear they've gone completely quiet. I swear Westboro Baptist Church have gone completely quiet. What bothers you about PETA is that they're biting down more than they can chew. They euthanize animals because they cannot manage all wayward animals they've rescued. Yes, that is true. They do that. So, I guess maybe it's possible that I haven't seen what Westboro is doing because I haven't been looking. Yeah. Okay, we'll get rid of the Twitch evangelist thing. We're sort of done with that topic now. Let me think for a sec. There was something I was going to bring up. I've forgotten what it was. Why have I got a bookmark of one of my scripts in my browser? And Storyfire. Can I get rid of that shit? Gamesindustry.biz. Yeah, I think Westboro is still around, but I don't know what... I guess maybe they've just subsided in terms of social relevance. So they're still probably doing their usual thing, and their protests piss me the fuck off as well. But it seems like by and large the internet has just unanimously decided, let's not pay them any more attention. Let's just let them fucking scream into the void. And I'm all for that decision. Last you heard of them is the founder coming out as gay on his deathbed. Honestly, that would make a lot of sense if true. I don't know if it is true or not, but it definitely wouldn't shock me. And there is a potentially toxic element to this train of thought, so don't take it too seriously, please. But there is an idea of, especially when it comes to religious repression of sexual identities, that someone who is sexually repressed, someone whose sexual identity or gender identity or any of those kinds of things is deeply repressed by the social environment around them. Honestly, let's talk about Keira Bell, right? As a there's this idea, you know, if someone is in an environment that treats them like they are other, then they will go into an intense form of self-loathing, which can lead to them lashing out against other people like them. Now let's talk about Keira Bell. I don't have the resources on me right now, but for those of you who are not aware, Keira Bell is the person who sued a gender clinic in the UK. I forget what the gender clinic is called now, because they gave her puberty blockers at, I think, the age of 14 or 15, and then she started transitioning into a man, and she had surgeries done, and she had the hormones have obviously changed her vocal cords, so she's got a deeper voice, she's got facial hair, bigger musculature and things like that. She's had, you know, effectively fully transitioned. And then after the fact, decided to detransition and blamed this gender clinic for prescribing her puberty blockers in the first place as the catalyst that led to her eventually detransitioning and having all these things wrong with her body now. Like, she looks at herself in the mirror and hates herself and all that. She had double mastectomy. I think she might have had bottom surgery. I'm not certain. But generally speaking, she used her detransition. She used the puberty blockers prescription to start a rally against that clinic, start a legal campaign against that clinic, which has gotten puberty blockers effectively banned in the UK as of right now. I believe there is some counteraction to that. Here's why this is relevant to the potential idea that the leader of Westboro Baptist Church may have been gay, may have been repressing quite a lot. There was a podcast that went out, and I'm going to have to go and find it and give it a listen because this is really interesting. Somebody gave me the Cliff Notes on Twitter, and what it sounds like is that Kira Bell, during their transition, didn't have any trans-positive friends and family members around them. They were completely surrounded by people who were intensely critical of the trans community, just blatant transphobes, of course. And for having no one in their life to give them any support to help them go through the process, they eventually developed a sense of intense self-loathing and the belief that everything that they were doing was wrong. And that's what caused them to detransition and what caused them to pursue legal action against that gender clinic that prescribed them puberty blockers in the first place. So, and now, like, there's a lot of speculation that she may retransition further down the line. Because, call me insane, but you don't go through that entire process over nothing. You know, you don't go through all of that. I think there's definitely... I'm not going to... Maybe I shouldn't speculate. But at the very least, it seems very specifically that Kira Bell, as they're known now, did not have the support network necessary, did not have the love and warmth of good friends, good community members to give them the help they needed to get through their transition successfully. And as a result, it caused them to repress their gender identity and lash out against other trans people effectively by pursuing legal action to stop teenage transgender people from transitioning themselves. Very sad story all around. There's a lot of really negative things in there. Yeah, an incest joke. Went the other way when you were closeted. You took the opinion that it was perfectly fine to be gay, just wasn't fine for yourself to be gay. Interesting that you should have had that viewpoint. Yeah, bigotry hurts everyone, it does. And I will bring this up every time that we talk about transitioning and things like opinions prior to coming out of the closet, is that I definitely had some transphobic viewpoints that I now, looking back, realize were transphobic, but in my head at the time were like, these are good ideas for trans people, maybe they should try this. Obviously, I was an absolute fucking dumbass to think those particular things, but at the time I thought I was being trans positive or whatever, which I was not. We won't go into details about what those are. Stuff like a cure and all that kind of nonsense. Typical things. Typical ideas that transphobes have that they think are being sympathetic towards trans people is what I used to believe. Because like I've mentioned before, I've known I was transgender for decades. Let's call it decades. Enlightened dumbass. Only realized when you were 10 and only finally accepted it when you were 16. Well, I'm glad you've accepted it. It's amazing how harmful you can be when you're trying to help. It is. Oh god, somebody mentioned an interesting point about specific types of trans women in the discussion. Like, what was it? Fuck, I've forgotten. There was something about the racism of transphobes that came up recently, and I cannot distinctly remember what the discussion was. Ah, fuck. It was a very good point to be made. Anyway, neither here nor there. The wine probably isn't helping, honestly. But I was ruminating as I came out of the bathroom. I'm like, do I want tea? I've got that Moscato there. How is transphobia racist? It wasn't specifically transphobia itself, although it is. It was about specific groups of TERFs, and how, God, like, this is the thing, it's like, I know exactly what they meant, but now I can't think of exactly what it is they were talking about. It's tip of my tongue kind of stuff. Didn't take you long to discover your race. Somebody's kid, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with it. Didn't take you long to discover your ace. Took you a long time to stumble upon ace as an identity. And this is why representation is so important. Excuse me. This is why me discovering folks like Steph Sanyati and ContraPoints and, honestly, morbid as it sounds, Blair White as well. Finding people who were transgender and who were just out there being transgender. Discovering that Jordan Raskopoulos was transgender as well. all of these things came together to make me finally come out of the closet, finally break that eggshell, and say to myself, listen, you dumb bitch. Get out of that fucking closet. You've been in there for 15 or 16 fucking years. You dickhead. Now we need some iconic ace people. Absolutely. Absolutely we do. And this is the thing about Jojo Siwa. You folks know Jojo Siwa recently came out as, at the very least, not straight. And now has recently released some photos of her with her girlfriend.
Another round.
Elephant Talk, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you so bloody kindly for ordering another round for everyone. Yeah, Jojo Siwa is a well-known, I think she's very, very well-known online personality. American dancer, apparently. She is dancer, singer, actress, and YouTube personality. And she appeared for 2 seasons on Dance Moms. Is that where she came from? But anyway, she's a she's a singer, she's a YouTuber, and she's got 12.2 million subscribers on YouTube. And she came out as, at the very least, not heterosexual. She said she doesn't want to put a label on it, but she's out there, she's proud, and she's sharing her girlfriend with the world. Like, she's showing, it's like, look, I've got a girlfriend. And that is hugely important. When you've got someone with this level of influence, it is hugely, hugely important to have that kind of representation out there in the world. Massive. Spent 15 years in the closet and have zero fashion sense to speak of. Pretty good candidate for LGBT out of the gate. Very rainbow aesthetic, true. Subtle. Thank you for the hydration, Fox. Fapping. Anyway, shall we move on to another topic? Should we move on to... Should look up on YouTube and Twitter Diamanda Hagen, who is a massive help to me on TERFs to avoid. I was recently taken in by the LGBT Alliance, who are basically a collection of right-wing lesbians, mostly with a few old gay guys who are in their videos look like scolded dogs. Might be time for bed. Radio Fox, have a good rest. I've heard of the LGBT Alliance, and they seem like a really lovely bunch of cunts. Here's a thing that's kind of relevant to this. What am I looking for? This one. This button over here. When was this published? This was published about 3 days ago. I think we briefly touched on this, but we never actually read the story. Similar concept, since we're going to stick with the queer stuff for now. Religious mother demands daughter's school drops LGBT plus support day because it would incite hostility. LGBT sure shares some dickheads in the mist. Yeah, it's really bizarre that there is such a trend towards the queer community trying to exclude other groups in the queer community. Bisexuals are often targeted, and trans people are often targeted. I haven't seen a whole lot in terms of anyone else potentially being excluded from the queer community, but honestly, I'm going to throw this out there. You can join me in this speculation if you wish. Has there been a lot of targeting of ace people? Violently waves bi flag. Ace spectrum are often excluded. True. I suppose like the exclusion itself would be the main thing. It seems like there is a lot of direct hostility towards, like, this is what I was trying to get across. Is like, I've seen a lot of direct hostility towards bi people and trans people, but not so much towards ace people, but I suppose the exclusion is the main factor there. Some people are saying the A's for allies. They're fucking idiots. Bernard, by the way. There you go. Trans pride, by the way. Wave that shit proudly, exactly. Freddie Mercury was very influential to the gay community. If it wasn't for him, you're sure AIDS in the gay community would still have the stigma, most likely. Mostly see Erasure, which is its own form of... welcome, by the way, Amanda Panda. Welcome to Twitch. I hope you have a very jolly good time here. Anyway, we were going to talk about this. Or that ace people are straights looking for attention. Yeah, that kind of thing. A Christian mother has written to her daughter's school, insisted has written to her daughter's school, insisted that celebrating an LGBT plus support day would incite hostility among students. The LGBT plus support day was intended to be a spirit week at Billings West High School in Montana, but one self-described mama bear, rolling my eyes into the back of my skull right now, but I have to keep reading the article, wrote to the school's principal, Kelly Hornby, to express her concern. According to local conservative radio station News Talk, she wrote, "I am writing to express my concern over the issues that will be focused and highlighted next week at West High." You just made affiliate. Congratulations. Congratulations on that. Well done. Very well done. She said her daughter was a sophomore at the school and that she had been delighted so far with her education, but that she was very concerned about the repercussions of choosing to focus next week's daily dress-up days to feature such a highly emotionally charged issue such as sexuality. I will now formally roll my eyes into the back of my skull. Ugh. Anyway, Mama Bear. Or that ASOS are incels that gave up. Fuck. That is so bad, dude. Anyway, she claimed to be of the opinion that all people deserve respect and dignity and should be treated with kindness. Yeah, and a lot of queer people, funny story about that, cisgender and heterosexual people are generally by society treated with respect and dignity and kindness, and queer people are almost universally not, so go fuck yourself, bitch. Anyway. However, then went on to tell the principal, "I cannot support my daughter being encouraged to celebrate a lifestyle." They always go, "It's a lifestyle." When they say it's a lifestyle, what they're trying to get across here is that they are choosing to be gay. That's what the lifestyle argument is that they are trying to push it over here and say it's like, this is how people are choosing to live their lives, being the queers. That's not at all. Never look at the lifestyle thing with any legitimacy. Anywho, I am appalled that such issues are typically private and personal, including religious beliefs and sexuality, are to be paraded in front of the student body without any regard to what that might mean for students who do not support this lifestyle. Well, here's the situation. When you completely overlook and ignore the LGBTQ plus community, especially in schools, when teenagers particularly are going through such a transformative phase in their life and trying to discover themselves, when you hide that away, when you shy away from that, when kids are trying to have that time of self-discovery, it's incredibly harmful. It is incredibly harmful, especially to teens who are often going through such significant changes in their mind and body. Remember, I've mentioned this before, suicide among teenagers is a serious issue. And when you have teenagers who are laughing manatee, thank you for the host. Thank you for bringing 5 friends over. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in. As we were saying, when you have, like I said, when you've got teens who are going through a lot of emotional changes, and some of those emotional changes can tie in with them discovering their sexuality and discovering their gender identity and all these things, and you try to repress that, then you are directly leading to those children potentially being self-harming, and it's a really awful, traumatic thing. If you are told, if you are only shown the most acceptable, what's the phrase I'm looking for, guys? What's the phrasing I'm looking for here, guys? If you're only shown the status quo, then it's going to make you feel like you're a freak. There you go. That's the way I'm going to summarize it. I'm appalled that, yeah, we've read that bit. In a society and cultural climate that has been driven lately by hate, anger, and divisiveness, I am saddened to see that we couldn't have come up with a group or issues to focus on that could bring us all together rather than further divide us and incite hostility. The only hostility... Actually, yes, Ian, and we'll come back around to that. The only hostility is coming from, as you've said, Amanda Panda, heteronormativity. That's where the hostility is coming from. Abbas Snail, shut the fuck up. He added that the day supporting LGBT plus students would disqualify others who may not adopt that lifestyle but are being bullied for their conservative Christian beliefs. Listen, bitch. The LGBT plus community is not trying to exclude you and your conservative Christian beliefs, you and your cis heteronormative beliefs. The LGBT plus community, if they are celebrating an LGBT plus Pride Day, LGBTQIA plus Pride Day, you are welcome to come along to that day and learn something. Honestly, back when I went to uni about 4 years ago for the first time and actually completed something at university, there was a trans awareness day that I should have gone to. The doors were open to everyone. And this has universally been the case for almost every single queer event that I have seen advertised. Please, everyone is welcome. Come and learn something about the queer community. Like, that is the message universally across the board, is we want to share awareness of the lives we lead. To open your eyes a little bit. Unable to tell the difference between LGBT plus identity and actually having sex. Look at that burn, dude. The mama bear said, I'm confused as to why we are focusing on sexuality at all in a teenage demographic when sexually transmitted disease, unintended pregnancy, cervical cancer, and mental health issues resulting from risky sexual behavior are clearly indicated by the research to be on the rise. What the absolute honest to goodness fuck is she talking about? This cunt. Oh my god. According to the radio station, the school has now postponed its entire Spirit Week because of complaints from parents. In 2019, the same Montana high school made headlines for blocking students from accessing the websites of LGBT plus advocacy organizations like Human Rights Watch and GLAAD. The schools blocked the websites under the category of Alternative Sexual Lifestyles, GLBT, yet allowed anti-LGBT plus sites to be easily accessed because of fucking course they did. Also, I just have to check something really quickly. If you select the text on this site, it's in pride colors. That is fucking awesome. Dude. That's amazing. I love it. That's so cute. Oh, that's Pink News, everyone. For anyone who is interested in what that website is, that is Pink News. They do a lot of queer reporting. Oh, I love it. That's adorable. What's up, Pink Morris? How you doing? Whew, okay. Anyway, let's come back to what you mentioned before. Sienna, did anyone just see CD Projekt Red are being held to ransom? Yes, they are. It's really weird. You're bullied by a French teacher at school, kind of got revenge on when you bumped into him at work 15 years later and told him he was a terrible teacher who taught me nothing beyond mediocre small men shouldn't have power over children. Fucking get him. I'm disgusted by the religious lifestyle this woman is teaching as well. She's absolutely enforcing her views upon the world. Can I get the select thing on my computer to do that permanently? I want to know how they did that. That's awesome. So what did I... Well, you're going to play devil's advocate. We celebrated an LGBTQ type thing as a group and got bullied there. Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of the situation is she's concerned, the lady is concerned for good reasons, that it's going to spread division and divisiveness. However, she's concerned for the wrong people. She's concerned that Christian conservatives are going to be harassed, not the queer people who are trying to celebrate their own existence. Those are the ones that are going to get bullied. Those are the ones that are going to get excluded. You know? So, Cuckols, you have an amazing point there. Yeah, now the mum is fucked. Anyway, let me go back a bit. The poor questions. I hate it when people say being gay or whatever is a choice. As you said a moment ago, you spent 6 years doing everything to not be gay. Exactly. I spent 16 fucking years, roundabout, repressing my gender identity and trying everything in my power to not come out because I knew being trans is not considered acceptable in society. Now, it's becoming more normalized as time goes on, but the reality of the situation is there was so much transphobia around me in my day-to-day life that I just knew if I came out, I would be tormented for it. Yes, we got a cat. He's going to come and lay on my lap now. Like here, the closet is deep and you just want your kids to know they are welcome as they are. Your favorite line from a student was, wait, you can be homo? I want to be homo. Some viruses can cause cancer, such as hepatitis. Exactly, yeah. A lot of Christians hate communism, and they're doing the exact same thing as Stalinist communism. Didn't buy Cyberpunk, had a bad feeling about it, so did I. I knew from the moment they started routinely delaying the game that it wasn't gonna come out well. I knew once they delayed once, it's like, oh, this is bad. Then they delayed again, I'm just like, mate, this is gonna fucking suck. Then they delayed a third time. CD Projekt Red massively fucked the dog on that one. They just absolutely had no idea what they were doing. Genuinely don't want CDPR to pay. Want to see what those buggers have. So let's go to the story, actually. Let's go to this story. Snailo, Haley. So, apparently, CD Projekt Red posted this on their Twitter for anyone who is curious. Important update. Yesterday, we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the content of which we released to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have already secured our IT infrastructure and begun restoring the data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We are still investigating the incident, however, at this time we can confirm that, to our best knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services. We have already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. This is what was left to CD Projekt Red. Hello CD Projekt, you have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source code from your Per4 server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of The Witcher 3. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us. There you go. So that's what's happening with CD Projekt Red at the moment. I don't know if there's any news articles covering the situation right now, but
Welcome
you get
to
the gist of what's going on. Little heart attack, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Whew. I can elucidate, bitch. Anyway, viral marketing for the unreleased version of The Witcher 3. Yeah, CD Projekt Red, honestly, I've mentioned that I thought Cyberpunk 2077 could genuinely destroy CDPR. And I think this may be the beginning of the end. Like, I think the release of Cyberpunk was the beginning of the end. And it really feels like this is a company that may not be able to recover from this. CDPR are big, but they're not like EA and Activision big, right? I think this may actually be their death throes, potentially. So we may be looking at, these kinds of cyber attacks. They've pissed off so many of the gaming public. I think they grew too big too fast. The Witcher 3 skyrocketed them to popularity. And because, I'm going to be completely honest with you, The Witcher 3 is one of the most overrated games of the last decade. It's a good game, but it's not as good as everyone touts it to be. I think the fact is it was an open world game that tried a bunch of different things and took itself a lot more seriously than other open world games that followed the similar format. And as a result, they got a lot of money from The Witcher 3, which gave them a lot of confidence to do Cyberpunk 2077, and they went as hard as they possibly could to create the best game they possibly could, but they were pushing their developers through unnecessary crunch periods for far longer than the stories that came out about crunch, for the record. There were people who were telling stories of developers in the studio who had been doing crunch hours. Like, as of the news story, there were people who were already doing 16-hour days for a year or more before that news broke, So the crunch had been ongoing. And I think the just intense negative reception, the fact that their stocks have been trending down dramatically, it's honestly like the writing is on the wall right now. I'm curious to see where this goes. So this is interesting. This is an interesting story. All those journalists who are extremely excited to start sharing illegally obtained information they got from a hacker. Dude, they absolutely will, though. Like, people like Jason Schreier are absolutely going to be writing articles about this. Schreier has had some amazing coverage of CD Projekt Red. Honestly. it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it matters. It's already down. I don't think CDPR would do this for publicity. Their reputation is absolutely fucked. At the very least, putting this out there is definitely a sympathy PR play at the very least. They're saying, "Oh look, we're going through it right now, really bad."
Welcome
guys.
to the Rogue Room.
Amanda Panda, weren't you already following? I swear you already followed. Anyway, welcome to the Rogue Room, Amanda Panda. Thank you so kindly for joining us tonight. Sit down, grab a drink, and continue to chill out with us. This chat has some weird takes. In what way? You mixed on this yourself. Have you ever read about a staff mistreatment on making... yes, on making L.A. Noire, which should have been the moment that game workers started a union. Absolutely. I did hear about the L.A. Noire situation. Absolutely fucking tragic. And yeah, as you folks have said, crunch is a crime. It's a human rights abuse. I am staunchly a supporter of the 888. 8 hours work, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. And quite frankly, I'm a proponent of the 4-day work week. You know? That should be the max. The society we live in, there are far too many people who do not have jobs. There are far too many people who are working too much. And, you know, the very fact that there is at all any kind of a jobs crisis, pay workers more, have them work less, have them rest and relax, give them 3 days off between their work weeks. 4-day work weeks, folks. Universal basic income. Like, I am such a fucking socialist. Jesus Christ. CDPR, being honest, is part of damage control. It absolutely is. Has Jim Sterling covered it yet? It's they now, actually. Jim Sterling is personally putting themselves out there as non-binary, and their pronouns are they, them. So they covered that in their most recent video, which I watched today, which unfortunately didn't cover the Mass Effect Arses fiasco, which I covered in my latest video, if you want to watch that one, which was just a stream highlight from this stream. But yeah, regrettably, I do like their new format, though. I do love their new format, Jimquisition's new format, where they have covered numerous different gaming news stories in one video. It's fantastic. I love it. Anyway, I don't condone this kind of thing, hacking the company and all of that, but it also feels like a necessary evil almost. Well, not a necessary evil, it feels like an inevitability, sorry, that's what I should say. It feels like this was an inevitability. I feel like the amount of backlash against CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 2077, this was gonna happen. With how badly it was received, and how badly they've been treating their workers, it definitely seems like something like this was it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. Now we have to sit and wait and see like what's going to come out of this whole situation. Legit, me and a friend were talking about 4-day working weeks at 8 hours. Yeah, it recently came up, and I will always advocate the 888. Absolutely. 8 hours work, 8 hours rest, 8 hours recreation. 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest, whatever. And even then, you could start with the full work week, Monday to Friday, to kick that off and then work down to 4-day work weeks. Jimquisition is fucking great. I am so disappointed in their audience. Honestly, I'm so disappointed in every time Jim uploads. James Stephanie Sterling uploads now. They lose like 2,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous how bigoted the gaming news audience is. That they would rather throw them away, throw Jimquisition away, than maybe listen to what they're saying and realize their biases and understand that there are different people in the world. It's just so fucking tiring, dude. Does the data being leaked hurt anyone who plays those games? Well, what they said was that, to the best of their knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of their players or users of their services. There you go. So it shouldn't... Can someone use that data to fuck with people who bought the game? Probably not. Someone mentioned games unions. Unionizing is very difficult for us industry workers. Very much the employers that have the power. Jobs are scarce. Tens if not hundreds of people are chasing each position. They can replace anyone with very little notice. Games workers and makers don't have the power. Game consumers, on the other hand, exactly. The situation is that the games industry operates specifically on the fever dreams of people who really want to work in making video games. There are a lot of people out there who've grown up playing video games and they want to be a game developer. So they go into game development, which is a massively saturated market. There are very few jobs compared to the amount of people that actually want to work in game development. And the games industry sees that and they're just like, well, if you're not going to work to the standard that we put forward for you, then we'll throw you away, you get fired, we'll terminate your contract, we'll treat you like shit, and we'll give you excessive hours, and we'll give you unreasonable work expectations. And if you can't meet those unreasonable work expectations, there's 100 other people lining up outside the door for your job. And the games industry absolutely is aware of this. And that's why you're not going to see game worker unionization. And it's absolutely detestable, and it's the same kind of thing that CD Projekt Red does, that Rockstar does, that Activision does, that EA does, that Ubisoft does. All of these big companies do this. You know, I wish every company could be as ethically sound as Supergiant is, for example, or what I know of Sucker Punch. But the unfortunate reality of the situation is that it's not. So, you think you're going to make a drink? That's a good idea. I'm going to have Calgar over here on, for those of you who are interested, put the 27th of February on your calendars, because we're going to be having Calgar over, my friend Jeffrey, my friend Jacinta, my sister, and I think 2 other people, and we're going to have a big cocktail mixing night here on my stream. And I think if Calgar can manage it, he might stream as well. He might do a dual stream. Gonna be mixing some alcohols. And what else? I'm also going to be doing a baking stream soon. I want to do a baking damper stream for folks who have never had damper before. It's an Australian classic baked good. Yes, Lucy is coming, as far as I'm aware, and she's bringing her boyfriend. That music playing? Very fucking quiet, dude. Oh, it's Chucklefish's company issues. Well, Stardew Valley is technically, as far as I know, Concerned Ape, the sole developer of Stardew Valley, aside from this last patch where he had help from a friend, has distanced himself from Chucklefish. Interestingly, a Chucklefish social media account was in my chat while I was playing Stardew a little while back. And I would like to play Stardew again at some stage. But for right now, we're focusing intently on the just chatting thing. This is where my focus is for my streams right now. So one of these days, I am going to do a gaming stream. We'll come back to Levidio's games. But right now, I'm really just loving this format. So yeah, we've got Jacinta involved. We've got, not Jacinta, we've got Lucy involved, yes. Jacinta, we have Lucy involved. Would you care, Jacinta, to join us for the damper baking stream? Oh, is it vegan? Hang on. This is the thing that I want to ask. Is damper vegan? I don't know if it is. I think it actually has... Well, as far as I can tell, self-raising flour, pinch of salt, 80 grams... Oh, butter. Butter is not vegan. Unless you use something that's not butter. Could you use olive oil spread? I've got olive oil spread, for example, which is largely... Or margarine. What's in margarine? Margarine. Processed food that is designed to taste and look similar to butter. It is often recommended as a heart-healthy replacement. Made from vegetable oils. You could just get vegan butter, yeah, it'd probably be the same result, honestly. I mean, the self-raising flour would be where the puffing up of the damper would come from. This is great since you don't have a lot of time for gaming on weekends nowadays. I feel like tomorrow gonna be such a lazy day for me. I might even play some video games just by myself off stream for a bit and just give myself a break from... I honestly, I feel like I've been working myself to fucking death. Can you make it vegan? I mean, yes, you can. You can technically make a lot of things vegan. You could use a bunch of supplementary ingredients to make things vegan. And I have been meaning to try. The issue, of course, is that I am very, very poor. I am not a wealthy person, and vegan ingredients and vegan goods, vegan products, are by and large pretty expensive. Been looking while you play online, having a bit of a panic attack for some reason. They thought you could channel that nervous energy to COD. How did you go? I hope it went well. Made a rum and coke. Nicely done, Draco. You can buy me chicky nuggies if you want. You know what I really like is you know what I like? I don't. Are you feeling okay now, W? Can I call you W? Is that a good name?
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Welcome to the Rogue Room, Vika Claw. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Oh my god, what is it called? The little ball things. The little crunchy ball things. They're often in kebab shops. That help? I don't fucking know. Not Maltesers, for fuck's sake, guys. Yes, I like Maltesers, but the falafel. That's it. Thank you, Elephant. Falafel. I love falafel. Revels? Sure, why not? Rebels! Rebels. Thank you, Jacinta. Did you look up what that said, by the way? Let me just quickly... I'm just going to do something really quick. I didn't intend to have wine tonight, but now I have to add it to my thing. So that's another 135 calories I didn't want to eat. I'm at 1,853 for the day. I am pretty good with my calorie intake at the moment. Trying to stay lean. Maybe a sensei, but Tuesday nights you're a student. Revels for the rebels. Getting better, just hits you sometimes as you freak out. That's it, yeah, that sounds familiar. It's like, and honestly, this is what I'm worried about, and I feel like I may need to see the doctor soon. I worry that I may be having a form of physical anxiety attack personally. Getting a ton of like tension in my chest, and my ribs are feeling a lot of pain. My heart rate elevates, and I start to like have panicked breathing, and I'm not sure why that is, because I'm not doing anything that typically does trigger my anxiety attacks. So I know how anxiety is. It's incredibly difficult to work with, incredibly difficult to deal with. I think there's a lot of misconceptions around anxiety as well. A lot of people tend to synonymize anxiety with nervousness. Started taking CBD for anxiety. Honestly, there's someone I chat to on Instagram every now and again who has recommended CBD to me a few times. Maybe I should look into it. It translated to that. Why do people think I want dick? I seriously need to get a lesbian flag and just hang it off my shelves. Cover up all my shit with a fucking lesbian flag. I like girl. Well, I mean, I don't mind if a girl has a dick. That's not the point I'm making. But generally speaking, why do they... you know what they mean when they say, have I sucked a dick? They're talking about men. Because there's this transphobic idea that trans women are just gay men who are that effeminate that they turned into girls. Like, that's not at all how it works, you fucking morons. Get a lady poster. Weird CBD makes you feel, not feel. Can I buy CBD near me? Cannabidiol. Can I get any? Is the problem. Am I allowed to get any in New South Wales? I'm speculating that maybe not, but I'm not 100% certain. I've still got this CD Projekt Red thing up, by the way. Transbian solidarity. Agreed, my co-sect. Think you have a place a few blocks from your house? That's pretty cool. Get CBD over the counter at chemists now in Australia, but there probably won't be any available for... Oh, okay. For a couple of years. You have an issue, Draco. What's up? Tell me about it. I had a diagnosed panic disorder for years, but you try and refocus your mind on something you can zone into. That's a good idea. If you can take the focus away from the anxiety... Oh, for God's sake. Son of a bitch, dude. There's something wrong with these lights. I only just bought them. God damn it. That kills my vibe, dude. Kills my fucking vibe when my lights are dead. Is trans being a word? It is now. But yeah, I've often found that when it comes to anxiety, the best thing is to just try to find something that distracts you from it. Try to refocus. Absolutely. Best way to do it. You went to try and buy a thing off your wish list, but the only address... Oh, that's weird. That's weird. I don't know how Amazon wishlist works. Maybe I have to set up a specific wish list that... Also, I don't know. It is public. I don't know. Honestly, that's interesting. I might have to ask someone who has a wish list who has had stuff bought for them off it to figure that out. Because I thought it was just you make a wish list and if people buy you something off there, it goes automatically to your house or whatever. You wish you turned out lesbian? It's not too late. Sometimes it gives their address, sometimes it'll only offer you yours. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Okay, hang on a second. Give me a second. It's annoying me, so I have to fix it. There we go. Done. I think it's because it has a USB extension cable. It's a cute dress, thank you. Yeah, I think it's because it's got a USB extension cable attached to it. Sometimes the cable's just not all there. It's not very good. Guys, folks, friends, we are 40 followers from 3K. I don't give a fuck about that. I honestly don't. Like, follower counts are a stupid goal on any social media. I do not give a single solitary fuck about follower counts. But knowing that I'm that close to 3K is kind of a neat feeling. Especially given how many followers have been... How many new folks have been coming to the stream lately. You've all been so lovely. Oh my god. I have to get this out there. I have to put this out. I have to manifest some positivity in the world. Because all I talk about is negative shit. You've all been so good. You've all been such lovely people. And I appreciate every single one of you so much. Matter of fact, you get an alternate camera angle for a second. Even though I hate the fucking frame rate. Look at this shit. Can you tell what I'm doing? Like, can you see the difference? You can tell me you can see the difference. Like, I've got this angle as well, which doesn't really work anymore. I need to fix this up. Also, the color is completely off on this one. I don't know what's right. I have to reset. I need to figure out. Can you give some real talk? Absolutely. I have to figure out how to get my cameras to just stay set to the same settings every time. But every time I turn off my PC, close OBS and all that shit, and reopen it later on, my cameras are fucked every fucking time. I have to reset them every time. Don't mind that angle. It's a nice angle. I don't mind it. Yeah, pretty good. I still want some more wall art stuff. Let's talk about something positive, like you said. Solace. How you doing, by the way? Let's talk about something positive to give the audience some solace. Yeah, the FPS is lower, exactly. Like, I can get both of the cameras to run at 30 FPS, or 60 FPS, but it just doesn't like to behave. That classically Abby Shoe tweet? Wait, what? I need to know what this is. I have notifications on for Shoe, so... Is it something she tweeted, or did Abby Shapiro tweet something about Shoe? Shoe, what have you been tweeting? Unless it's an older tweet. Okay, Oh, shoes. Oh, I thought you meant shoe on head. What I think is fashion, what kids think is fashion. Dude, I've got boots exactly like that. Been super lonely living in Japan. Haven't seen family in over a year and I miss them. Been using Twitch to help you socialize. Well, I hope you found a nice, warm, welcoming place here. You can join my Discord server if you would like. We're always chatting about something in there. And yeah, I hope you I hope you find some lovely places to socialize online. I just think it's really fucked up how people are different than me. You see the shoe tweet again, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't mind both of them. You wouldn't catch me dead in high heels, but they're not bad. And that's her thing, though. if they are USB cameras, they're Logitech C922s, and the fact that they are both the same camera, I think, is actually the problem. I think having two of the same camera might be affecting the software output in some way, maybe, I don't know. But maybe I should try having, because, I mean, if I ever get the money, this is, of course, because I don't have it right now. All of my money is going towards other things. But if I eventually have the money for a spare camera, I'm definitely going to look at a different model camera. Because the C922 has had such a fucking time. Doc Martens are turning the kids into snowflakes. Recommend Abby's Discord as a chill place to chill. I like mine are fake docs. Mine are $50 knockoff Doc Martens. They've got a zipper up the side though, honestly. I don't think regular Doc Martens do, but these ones have a zip up the side. So I just unzip them, put my foot in, zip it up, and it's the best shit in the world. I never have to do my shoelaces when I wear my boots. It's amazing. The best thing in the fucking world, dude. More shoes need to have zippers on the side of them. Intern Martens. You think, look at the shoe versus the boot and you think practicality. Exactly. That'll be so helpful for Japan. We have to take off our shoes everywhere. Yeah, it would. It would. Do I get coffee alerts? I think I do. I think I do get coffee alerts as far as I'm aware. On my desktop. Oh, actually, I think I turned off the desktop notifications for them. But I don't, maybe on, maybe this one got turned off. I'd like a coffee. I shouldn't have a coffee. It's like 11:40 at night. But I've been getting better with my coffee consumption. I've been drinking less of it. Had 2 lattes today, and I've had 1 black coffee for pre-workout. I guess maybe it didn't. That's via Patreon. Maybe it doesn't do coffee notifications. That's annoying. But anyway, let me give you a shout. Let me give you a thank you, at the very least, for have some fun. Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly, Draco. If I can figure out how to add an alert for that, I'll do that. Add a mocha at Starbucks. For those of you who don't know, Coffee, KO-FI, is a direct donation, direct tip service that you can use if you're a streamer or a creator of any kind, or if you just, you know, if you just want to beg people for money if you feel like it. Just a place where you can attach your PayPal to it and people can send you a coffee, so to speak, of any amount. As far as I know, it's not specifically a content sharing platform, but I have got like a couple of pictures on there of my desktop or something. You know, just a minor, insignificant reward for anyone who tips, but it's, again, doesn't really. It's no, if you want more content, I would argue go to my Patreon, but my Patreon is content bare at the moment. I need to add some more stuff to it, which we will be doing at very soon. Anywho. Can we only use PayPal on Coffee? I'm not sure. I think so. I may look into that. I may see if there is an option to add a different payment plan, but honestly, I don't want more money going to my bank. I don't like my bank. The fact that I'm out of gainful employment at the moment and they will not let me use my loan protection insurance to somehow alleviate the stress of paying $210 a month on a car loan for a car I no longer have. Ridiculous. Like, why am I paying $25 a month for loan protection insurance if I can't use it for anything? I took the loan when I was in a part-time job. The car that I had broke down after less than a year, and I'm still paying off a debt for that particular loan, and I'm paying protection insurance for reasons that escape me. Like, what am I paying extra money for? If I can't get rid of if I can't alleviate the loan, reduce my payments or something, what exactly is that loan protection insurance for? What am I paying for? You know, that's the issue I have with that. So I don't want more money going into my bank if I can avoid it. And as soon as I can, I'm changing banks. I'm going to go to a credit union or something like that. Here's a post. Do I need some help? I'm not trying to say I just don't like banks. I'm just trying to illustrate why I don't like banks. Here's a thing though. here's a reason that you should. I mean, I always like having money. Don't get me wrong, but the issue is I never have enough. Here's an idea. Here's the thing. Facebook will now take down posts claiming vaccines cause autism. Can we get a mild round of applause for Facebook? Yeah, we all got to vent time to time. I just hate the banking system in general. It's fucked. Howdy, Texas. How you going? Or Texa. Is it Texa SSJ? So timely, I know. The company is expanding what kinds of misinformation it takes down as COVID-19 vaccinations continue. Facebook is expanding what false claims it will remove from its platforms related to COVID-19, COVID-19 vaccines, and vaccines in general starting today. The company began removing debunked COVID-19 claims in December of last year and notifying customers when they had interacted with a post that has false information that same month. But now the list of potential claims that could get a post removed has grown. Highlights from the new expanded list of false COVID-19 and vaccine-related claims that will be removed include COVID-19 is man-made, vaccines are not effective at preventing the disease they were created to protect against, it's safer to get a disease than to get its vaccine, vaccines are dangerous, toxic, or cause autism. Screeching about free speech ensues. Your free speech ends where my right to be not exterminated by eugenics begins. I think. You get the point that I'm making. Anyway, Facebook says it will start enforcing this policy immediately, focusing on groups, pages, and accounts that share content from its new list of debunked claims. The company also says it would consider removing the sources of the posts entirely if they became repeat offenders. Notably, the company says it will only be enforcing this change during the COVID health emergency. So while tamping down on such claims could be a major blow to the anti-vaccine movement on Facebook, it might not last long. Even if it remains brief, it's an important change. Facebook was a major source of vaccine misinformation even before the pandemic, and addressing it more directly could have a meaningful impact on people who might have otherwise become anti-vaxxers. Expanding what counts as COVID-19 and vaccine misinformation is a smart move for Facebook, but some worry that what posts might get caught in the company's new, larger misinformation net. Studies into the effectiveness of certain masks, vaccines, and tests are still ongoing. As written, Facebook's new guidelines might prevent conversations around new research results, as UNC professor Zeynep Tufekci notes. Anyway. Oh, what have I missed? Oh yeah, true. What if my kid becomes autistic? Would you rather your kid fucking died from polio? One of your students was nervous about getting a COVID shot today because she doesn't like shots. That's understandable. You know, there's nothing wrong with being afraid of getting a needle. I get them routinely because I have to go to the endocrinologist soon. I got to get my blood taken. And it's never nice to have a jab, but I would rather have the vaccine against COVID than get COVID.
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Mike Sect, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. And I have just finished mine. Rocking up at the 11th hour, quite almost literally. That dress, thank you so kindly. I like it. It's a very nice dress. I need more like these. She's feeling better about it now. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I feel like the term "tard," you know, because it's what's the fucking thing? It's the final syllable, of course, of the word retard, and we're trying to move away from any of that ableist terminology, even though I will use the phrasing in terms of context. I would never use it as an insult towards somebody. Honestly, nowadays, whenever I see someone use that term as an insult, I'm like, holy heck, why are you such a bad person? There seems to be a lack of credible education. We don't understand. What we don't understand, we tend to fear. Here's the interesting thing, W. Is that all medical treatments are experimental. You think you have a fear of blood? Fear not dead. A dead of blood, yeah. How's it going? I'm going okay, Anxiety. How are you going? All medical treatments are technically experimental. It's like every single medical treatment that we routinely use has to be rigorously tested before it can be publicly distributed. And even after it's being publicly distributed, they're still collecting a whole bunch of data about how a vaccine is going to affect people, how a certain medication is going to affect people. They're always collecting more and more data about these things. So that's just the unfortunate reality of medical science. There's nothing specifically set in stone. The medication you might give one person might take away their symptoms and make them feel better, but on the other end of the spectrum, you give that to same medication to somebody else, and it might have completely disastrous, completely unforeseen results. You know, we can't have a concrete basis for knowing exactly what a medication is going to do. In place of the word turd, so it rolls off the tongue easier. Still true, but still. Excuse me. Looking at the list, Facebook may have taken down some current real news and public health statements too. We have ongoing clinic trials with no placebo, for example. UK heterologous prime boost trial. Also today's report on Chadox 1 may need to go under these guidelines. If you want to laugh your head off at greedy right-wing capitalists, here's the obnoxious Milo and how he destroyed his fortune with cryptocurrency Yiannopoulos. Business implodes after the death of crypto billionaire Politico. Sounds good. Let me have a look. What's this? I know of him. Yiannopoulos business implodes after death of crypto billionaire. Interesting. Hang on. We'll continue. We'll finish this and then we'll come back to that. What's more, Tefeki points out, I think that's how you pronounce that, recommendations from public health agencies have changed over the course of the pandemic, which may mean that older posts from organizations like the WHO may also be removed. The Verge has contacted Facebook with these concerns and will update if we learn more. Outside of those policy changes, Facebook is also making adjustments to how factual COVID-19 information gets delivered on Facebook and Instagram. The company will feature links to vaccine information and for signing up to receive a vaccination in its COVID-19 Information Center, and it plans to bring the feature to Instagram as well. Facebook also says that it's continuing to improve search on both platforms to surface more relevant, authoritative results when a user searches something related to COVID. When a user searches something related to COVID-19, there's supposed to be a 2 in there, related to COVID-19, including displaying users who discourage vaccinations lower in search results on Instagram. Finally, Facebook is extending $120 million in ad credits to help health ministries, NGOs, and UN agencies spread COVID-19 vaccine information to Facebook's billions of users. Kind of terrifying how many people use Facebook, honestly. I am one of them. You are probably one of them. Or you probably use Instagram, or you probably use Messenger. And it's really, really, honestly unsettling just how much power these people, how much data they have over us. It's really, really worrisome. The tech giants that are effectively in a position of having more power than the government. But still, there we go. That's a good thing that Facebook is doing. So we have there is the current situation with Facebook. COVID-19. Wait, I hit send. Channel's family friendly, so you have to keep everything clean there too, but the temptation is great at times. Fuckwit. Fuckwit's always a good word. I love the word fuckwit. Everyone, if you want to call somebody, honestly, even thinking of words like stupid and things like that, just if you find someone disagreeable enough that you want to go ad hominem, just call them a fuckwit. Honestly. This is from 3 years ago. Want to laugh your head off at a greedy right-wing capitalist? I mean, always. But I mean, this is 3 years old. It is so hard to find words that aren't ableist because a lot of words, idiot, imbecile, moron, dolt. Fuck nugget's a good one. Call them a bell end. Thunder cunt with your friends. That's a good one. Oh, there we go. Thunder cunt. Call them silly. What's that one? What was I gonna say? Milo Yiannopoulos. So this is a few years old. Has he still got any... Oh my god, he's hideous. Anyway, oh my god. Good lord, that's what he looks like. I'm not a conservative. What in the world gave you the idea that I'm a conservative? I'm not Blair White. Running out of money and down on his luck, right-wing provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos laid off the small staff of Milo Entertainment Incorporated earlier this month. Again, this is from back in 2018, according to 3 people familiar with the situation. Yiannopoulos' company has fallen on hard times ever since his former patrons, Robert and Rebecca Mercer, severed their financial backing last year. According to the sources, Yiannopoulos had been expecting to instead receive significant financial backing from the banking heir and cryptocurrency millionaire Matthew Mellon, but those hopes were dashed with Mellon's unexpected death from an apparent drug overdose on April 16. On Monday, Yiannopoulos posted a photo on Instagram of himself with Mellon. I spent a few days and nights in Miami and LA with the incredible human being Matthew Mellon, the last of them just a day before he passed. Yiannopoulos wrote in the caption, "Oh, the sentiment. Oh, the sentimentality of a rich white dickhead. He was brilliant, infectious, and warm-hearted. I can never take these people seriously when they get sentimental about someone's death, especially when they're particularly rich. When they're particularly rich." I am a little bit drunk, by the way. Not that one. Where were we? Rest in peace now, MM. You left a giant stamp on the world. With Mellon's unexpected death, Yiannopoulos could no longer afford the staff of Milo Entertainment. He fired everybody, said one person familiar with the Yiannopoulos operation, which had employed a handful of full-time and part-time staffers. Among them was the journalist Chadwick Moore, who was technically terminated several days before learning of his firing, according to two people familiar with the situation. Moore spent those days with Yiannopoulos unaware that he had been fired. Yiannopoulos was supposed to inform Moore of his dismissal, according to a person familiar with the situation. Instead, Milo Incorporated CEO Alexander Macros ended up having to call Moore and tell him about his termination. Pillock is a good one. Moore in an email said, "I haven't a clue what you're talking about. I'm just an editor. I got paid today and the work continues." Yiannopoulos also disputed this version of events. There is nothing I was supposed to tell Chadwick that I did not tell him in a timely fashion, and in any case, such news comes from the CEO, not me. Yiannopoulos' business includes Milo Worldwide LLC and Milo Entertainment Incorporated. The layoffs hit Milo Entertainment Incorporated, the corporate entity used for employment purposes. Despite their termination from Milo Entertainment, Moore and Macros retain interest in Milo Worldwide. Yiannopoulos said Moore and Macros were terminated from Milo Entertainment because of the costs of their health care. Fucking Christ. But that he had increased their compensation through Milo Worldwide to compensate for the move. At least 2 other full-time staffers were let go entirely. Yiannopoulos, meanwhile, continues his search for financial backing. Does anyone know what his situation is now as of 2021? He painted the layoffs as a minor setback. The video component of my daily show was stopped recently as the cost wasn't justifiable. He wrote a text message. Show is now audio only. There were 2 layoffs as a result, but nothing has changed elsewhere or at dangerous.com. As for those affected, they are taking a less rosy view. People are very, very furious, said a person familiar with the situation. What is Milo Yiannopoulos up to these days? Does anyone know what he's up to these days? Anyway, let me see. People thinking gay people should subscribe to one party perplexes me. Well, I mean, the Conservative Party largely has explicitly anti-queer viewpoints, so that's why queer people probably, generally speaking, shouldn't be conservative. Just because they shouldn't be doesn't mean they aren't, of course. We've seen many queer conservatives out there. I just think it's incredibly backwards of them to subscribe to that particular ideology. Don't know if you're convinced avoiding certain words actually protects anyone. It protects people in my chat. I don't want them to feel like they're harassed here. I want people to feel like they can be comfortable here. And if people are coming in here constantly using certain words that are obviously upsetting to them, then I don't want those words to be used. Reject modernity, poppycock. Funniest irony is that at the time Milo's merch store included a t-shirt saying "Stop being poor." Fuck him. Emphasize the A, so it's twat. Twat. Live in Japan, but originally from the States. Gobshite. Bernard gonna swear in wingdings. I am Australian, by the way. Like, I'm not even in America. I disagree with most conservative viewpoints. I am pro drug decriminalization. I've never seen any conservatives claim that they are pro gay rights or pro civil rights. Anywho, my main focus at the moment is the Greens Party or the Labour Party in Australia. You guys are all speaking in Swedish, I think, or what language is that? More smudge, he's fucked off now. Wing the Ultimate Nug, how's it going? How's it hanging? Honestly, I'm not even sure if they're, like, what conservative... Norwegian, there we go. What conservative viewpoints I would even look to. I'm not going to go into deep detail researching different conservative viewpoints at this time of the night after I've had 1.5 glasses of Moscato. Speaking Swedish, Bernard is speaking Norwegian. I used to be learning a bit of Swedish, but I stopped doing it. I should get back to it. I know what bröd is. Who wants to eat some bröd? Yeah, I'm not particularly interested in contemplating conservatism right now. I'm tired. It's 11:58 p.m. I am mildly drunk. Excuse me. They're definitely not pro LGBTQIA+. That's my main thing. Like, if a company, it's always companies, isn't it? After Japanese class, have a good one, Amanda Panda. Thank you so kindly for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you. Ugh. Excuse me. What's up, Rage Tuna? How's it going? Fan means shit in Norwegian. Honestly, about the guns thing, do we need to revisit Port Arthur? Because I can bring up Port Arthur again. I live in Australia, and there was an absolutely detestable, disgusting massacre that resulted in, as far as I recall, 32 deaths and numerous other injuries. And as a result, guns have been completely outlawed in Australia, aside from, I think, very, very specific reasons to have them. And that's a very good thing, because have there been any shootings in Australia in recent memory? Not that I can think of. And yet, I am constantly hearing about shootings happening in the United States. People being mowed down in schools and public places and things like that. I am not, in any way, a supporter of gun rights. Don't trust low taxes. Why is that, Cuckles? I'm curious. And of course, I'm not 100% on the taxation system, to be honest. It's very obtuse, it's very opaque for a reason, the taxation system. Work at a funeral home in Chicago. Like I said, you haven't had a mass shooting in nearly 3 years, and then I work at a funeral home in Chicago. Shootings happen a lot. Like... I haven't had a mass shooting in nearly 3 years. We haven't had a mass shooting in 30. What's the priority here? When was... What did I call it again? What's it called? Port Arthur. Hey, Seaweed Popcorn, how you doing? 1996, so it wasn't 30 years, 25 years. Where the Australian government bought up for $400-something million every gun in the country. I feel if low taxes were to happen, the funds wouldn't be pulled from a tax, or possibly stores would have to have hiked prices to meet taxes. Interesting. Mass shootings don't happen often, but gang-related shootings happen a lot more. Fair. Yeah. Understandable. The fact that shootings are happening at all. The fact that anyone in a civilized country, or any country, realistically, I mean, guns bad as a general rule. Why are people being shot to death? Part of the reason you don't want minimum wage increased by almost double, because then goods and taxes would increase. That's an unfortunately fair point that you've got, is that, like, if we do increase the... if America does increase the minimum wage to $15, which I do agree with as a base concept, provided the cost of living doesn't go up in other respects. Because the moment you increase the minimum wage across the board to $15, which would be the ideal situation, all of the companies, you know, America is a capitalist dystopia, but they're just going to raise the prices for everything. And there are arguments against that, saying, you know, I think in Washington, D.C., for example, or in Washington State, I can't remember which it was, like somebody was complaining, oh, I hope you're ready to pay $38 for your Taco Bell or whatever. And somebody mentioned in a response, it's like, oh, well, over in Washington, they've got a $15 minimum wage already. And Taco Bell, taco meals, whatever the fuck it was like $3.29. Like, it's a non-argument. But the worry I have is, like, if you institute that on a national scale, there is definitely the possibility that corporations will look at that and say, well, the prices have gone up, the wages have gone up, thereby the prices have to go up. We can afford to charge people more for things. It's a very, very complex situation. Nothing I can agree on with conservatives. We've only talked about guns so far, really. Conservative ideas of low tax are often pushed by the richer parts of society, usually to scare the middle and lower class, because extra 5% in tax will actually affect them. Absolutely right. Live in the UK, can't find a left-wing news source that isn't right-wing or useless. You see the bills being introduced in Parliament and you know what they mean. Yes, it is getting scary, and we don't get to replace Bojo for 3 years. Oh, God. That is a very long time in politics. The fucknut Nigel Farage has been pushing for UK gun ownership mainly for rich white people. Down with capitalism, yeet the rich. Raising wages and economic stimulus have similar arguments. Generally, the extra cost in wages are made up by more people having disposable income. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Is free market capitalism a good thing? What's crony
Welcome
capitalism?
to the Rogue Room.
Welcome to the Rogue Room. Rate, tuna, sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. So what are you arguing there? That the companies we know to be as absolutely greed-driven as humanly possible, if you can even call them human, would not do exactly as I said? Sofa King 64. If he plays, welcome in. How you doing? Not super informed on the whole upper class issue, but you don't think taxing the rich is fair, nor is it a smart thing to do, considering they run our markets mostly. Capitalism without regulation. Oh, lovely. Well, like, do you think capitalism is regulated in its current state? People spend more because they have more to spend, and the poor spend their money straight away. True. I mean, I currently have the issue of I spend my money straight away because most of it goes to my bills. And then I buy my groceries, and then I've got next to nothing left, and then I'm like, I can't spend what little I have left in case something else comes up. So I'm in that situation where my income is almost entirely disposed of by the moment I get it. Not great. And oh look, we have capitalism with minimal regulation. Fucking how that works. Is the free market real when Robinhood tries to limit people buying GameStop shares? Exactly. Not to mention, you know, like they don't want an actual free market. They want a strictly controlled market, wherein certain people are not able to move out of the circumstances that they're stuck in. Thus, the Robinhood thing. Depends on what sources you're using. We can pretty much piss out the red label papers, and Daily Mail are often wrong with their info. Don't have access to BBC News as you don't pay a TV license. Is there a way you can get around the paywalls? Because I have a thing that gets me around paywalls, because I'm not going to pay any Murdoch Media a single dollar, obviously. Look up libertarianism. I might actually have to. That's a good point. Because I did do the political compass test a while back, and it put me as a economic left libertarian. So like, maybe I just need to expand my horizons on certain things. Don't buy the whole crony capitalism thing. Monopolies will still form. People will still have to sell their label for less and worse. I mean, yes, absolutely. Hi, Catalina Gearbox. How you doing? The GameStop incident is proof we don't have a free market. The rich are pretty much saying, hey, only we can rig the system. Yeah, they are absolutely pissed off that they lost the game that they rigged in the first place. Should come here more often. Time to wake up earlier. It is time to wake up earlier. I should probably get to bed soon, actually. I wasn't in the gym until like 10:30 this morning. Which is really late for me. So I didn't finish my session until almost midday. And I don't want to do that again. I really want to get up like super early, get in the gym super early, and then get out of there super early. My gym opens at 8 a.m. If I can get there at 8 a.m. as soon as possible. What's this now? Cornwall neo-Nazi teen white supremacist jailed after vowing to hang gay people and shoot up their parades. Good gravy. This was, well, yesterday now. Oh my goodness. Do we do one more story and then we call it for the night? We do this story? This is, I mean... heavily controlled capitalism, like how the EU works, is not a perfect system, but the UK being out of European trade is insane, and it's a totally broken system there. I'm gonna have to look into that. What in the world? It's 8:07 a.m. for you. Pink News is a good source, for the record. Pink News is a queer news source. It is my right to drive without a seatbelt. Can't get access to BBC Parliament TV without risking imprisonment. Goodness. Might find connections with the Libertarian Party. I'll have a look. When you say drug reform, I'm curious, what do you mean by drug reform? Because in my personal opinion, the current criminalization of drugs is a bad thing. The fact that people can go to jail for having an ounce of weed is a bad thing. The fact that people can go to jail for having an ounce of coke is a bad thing. The fact that people can go to jail for having a syringe of heroin is a bad thing. Legalize all drugs. I think decriminalize all drugs, but I don't know what the difference is between legalize and decriminalize. That's a bit of a tricky grey area. I mean, you're gay, you go to a convention in June that has a gay parade during its event, you get dragged into it as well. Kid in that story was 13. This is the problem with how easy it is to slip into the alt-right pipeline. Kids are falling for this shit. Anyway, 13-year-old white supremacist avoids jail after vowing to hang gay people and shoot up their parades. A teen neo-Nazi believed to be Britain's youngest white supremacist terrorist has evaded a custodial sentence after calling for a war against minority groups, including, guess what, the Jews, and gay people from his grandmother's shed. His grandmother's shed in Cornwall. This teenage boy, who cannot be named for legal reasons, evaded a custodial sentence at the Old Bailey on Monday, but was made subject to a 24-month youth rehabilitation centre. Well, I hope that helps him to get out of this corrupt, mind-altering bullshit. He had admitted 10 counts of possessing terrorist material and 2 of disseminating terrorist publications. Now 16, the boy was 13 when he joined the neo-Nazi website Fascist Forge. By the way, I just got to bring this up again. When you select the text, it goes gay. And shooting up their parades, as well as the gassing of Jewish people. Teen white supremacist collected a haul of extremist guidebooks. He also collected a haul of terrorist materials, including an explosives manual and guidebooks on how to make napalm and Molotov cocktails, learn knife fighting skills, and build an AK-47 assault rifle using readily available supplies. At age 14, he became the head of the British wing of banned neo-Nazi terrorist organisation Führerkrieg Division, recruiting 5 others. The organisation was later revealed to be run by another 13-year-old in Estonia, who in his country was deemed too young to be charged with committing an offence. Good lord, that is fucking unsettling. When police arrested the British boy who lived with grandmother, I think it's supposed to say with his grandmother, they found a Nazi flag and neo-Nazi code numbers 1488 painted on the shed. Despite posting messages about killing gay people, Jews, and non-whites using nail bombs, firearms, and other methods, he later told police he did not have racist, homophobic, or anti-Semitic views. Oh, really? Funny how that works. Why were you expressing those viewpoints then, friendo? But wanted to look cool and look like he was doing something for the cause. Alright, Sammy, have a good one. Disturbing 13-year-olds hold neo-Nazi views. Crown Prosecution Service Counter-Terror Chief Jenny Hopkins said people will rightly be disturbed that a 13-year-old should hold the most appalling neo-Nazi beliefs and start collecting manuals on bomb making and firearms. He's a fucking poser. He claimed not to have racist views and just wanted to appear cool, but the body of evidence led to him pleading guilty to possession and dissemination of terrorist material. Haris Pusep of the Estonian International Security Service told ITV News that while Führerkrieg Division appeared to include children, if people who are there in the chat room act on what's being discussed there, then the threat is not illusional, it's real. The Estonian boy, who was undergoing a de-radicalization program, had called for followers to that Christian nuns in Hitler's name and had listed Jewish, black, gay, and transgender people as enemies. Pusep continued, exchanging radical, violent ideas is truly a global phenomenon, which means there are no borders. He added that terrorists deemed lone actors don't radicalize by themselves, they are being affected by the material that's out there on the internet, and also when they are discussing those ideas with others. The terror investigator added, I think there is more hope with younger people than perhaps people whose frustration has piled up over the long years for different reasons, and perhaps it's harder to bring them back to a normal life than it is to make sure a kid has a chance for a decent life.
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Agreed with that final statement. Catalina, thank you for following it. Thank you for joining us here in the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out. part of the scam, they aren't the leaders, they're simply the ones who can't take the fall for being too young. True. Probably because of this event, you're actually having an upset tummy saved your life as you were in Soho in 1999 at a comic shop and decided going how was wise. Later finding out about the bombing was pretty shocking, especially what this loony's plan was. Goodness me. I hope you opened your eyes. You have a little bit. You have a little bit. I'm very beautiful, thank you. I will look into the Libertarian Party a little bit more deeply. And yeah, I agree with Jacinta. Thank you for being so respectful. I appreciate that so much. Especially considering that I'm generally not very respectful. I'm a bit of an asshole, honestly. Series of bomb explosions in London, England, United Kingdom over 3 successive weekends. Here's the thing. I can't remember. There was a bombing that happened late last year, like December of last year or something like that. There was a bombing that happened somewhere in America. No one's talking about it. No, they destroyed a city block. I can't remember what city it is. And we've heard nothing about it because the person who committed the crime was at Oklahoma. The person who committed the crime was white. So we don't hear anything about it. You got banned from a Discord. You got banned from a Discord for saying Christianity wants to kill gay people. I mean, when you bring it down to it, I mean, there's an element of that in extremist Christian communities for sure. Nashville bombing. Yeah, we heard nothing about it. 2020 Nashville bombing. Anthony Quinn Warner detonated a recreational vehicle bomb in downtown Nashville on Christmas fucking Day. This is a very morbid stream. We do, I guess, like I mentioned before, we did coverage of the Port Arthur massacre. We're talking about bombings. We're talking about Nazis. This is a lovely place to be, isn't it? Very little was affected by it. It's still a bombing. And yeah, he died in the attack. Needs more cat. We do need more cat. Oh, goodness. I think I'm at my end. I'm at my tail end of this. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there. Because we're like midnight. So, I'm thinking we can call it there. I think that's probably a good spot to end the stream. Trying to think to myself, who are you folks at all intrigued by raiding? 8 a.m. I am up late. It's 12:16 a.m. I think to myself, it's like, who's doing a live stream? No, a very queer streamer. Hit me up. Who are we raiding? We're about to find out. Glitchcraft. Let's have a look. Keep in mind, I generally, like, depending on how big they are. I've been looking at my Twitch tracker far too much lately. Fuck's sake, dude. Okay, here we go. Ooblets! Alright, we'll have a look at Ooblets. Although, I am a little bit on that game, what with their cocky bullshit around the Epic Game Store. But we'll ignore the game and focus on the person here. Let's go raid... okay, that didn't work. It did work. Okay, let's go raid Glitchcraft. Thank you so kindly for the chats tonight, everybody. You've all been absolutely lovely. Why is the raid thing staying at 0 viewers? That's weird. It's staying at 0 viewers. What the fuck? That's not how that works, Twitch. I know there's not 0 viewers in this chat. Hang on a second. Let me redo it. Are you guys seeing the fuck? Don't go. Hang on. Let me try it again. What the hell? I think it's bugging out on my end. That's weird. Stick around for the raid. It just says tap to leave. Let's see what happens when we actually hit the raid. Because, according to my dashboard, I've got 35 viewers at the moment. By Rage strikes again. The loading pinwheel. What the fuck? Yeah, it just says no viewers. That's weird. I hope it doesn't say that on the other end, but we're going to go raid Glitchcraft, who is going to be playing some Ooblets. They are going to be playing some Ooblets. And I will be live tomorrow if I'm not mistaken. I've got to take a day off soon. I do have to take a day off soon. Otherwise, I'm going to send myself into a stress panic attack. Here's my outro scene if you want to look at that. Thanks for hanging, folks. You've all been absolutely lovely. I appreciate you so much. And if you have not already, please join my Discord. Please follow my Twitter. I think, did I say, no, I didn't. Okay, Instagram. That isn't it. Insta, whatever. Trying to get all of these. And YouTube is the main one. If you folks are not already following all that, ignore the skating account. I've logged out of it. I'm not posting anything on my skating account anymore. I've stopped skateboarding yet again. What a shocker. I can't stick to a habit to save my life. Have a good one, everybody. I love your faces, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
Before I was like, oh my